Hello and welcome to another episode of Podcast 572. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. I'm joined by my two friends, Dan and Matt. We're going to go ahead and just kick it off with what we've been playing as usual. For me, I'll go ahead and start. For me, I have put Final Fantasy 16 on pause, not because I dislike the game, just because the main reason. No, I did not finish it. But the main reason was I wanted to go back to Diablo because I wanted to start this seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
And as I've talked to Matt about it, which is interesting, so it says clearly on the thing, like you have to finish the story before you can start a seasonal character.
Yeah.
Which I have not. But Matt hasn't finished it and he was able to start a seasonal character.
So what I told him too.
Yeah.
And it's weird because he said that and I was like, well, maybe I didn't start a seasonal character. Maybe I just started a new character.
Uh-huh.
But when I went in, my druid says seasonal versus
and you're doing like the missions and stuff that are in it, because I've played season 1 I've played this too, and I had to make sure that I went through and like blasted through the story and like I saw the credits and all that kind of stuff.
I see it. I haven't, but when I go to, so he showed me like, oh, I made a seasonal character. I'm like, well, maybe I can, and I went all the way through like to the very end. There's no option for me to make it as
it's pretty clear when you make a character. It's pretty clear. It says do you want this to be a real character or like a seasonal character.
What act are you on then, Matt?
I am on Act 5. Actually.
Okay. Maybe you have to get to Act 5 and then I don't know.
That's possible. I mean, I went through and finished, like I beat Lilith, like I finished it.
Okay.
And then I did the thing where you open up like World Tier 3 because you have to beat a dungeon after you beat her to open that up. And then as soon as that was done, I was like, all right. And then I went out and I made my sorcerer person, but that's weird. Maybe it is just get to Act 5, or maybe yours is just acting funny because
I don't know, server issues.
Wow. So I'm gonna play through some more of the season and see like what's happening. But I need to go back and actually finish it with my normal person.
I've only played a little bit of like the season stuff. It's nice because it lets you skip the beginning stuff. You could just start in the town if you want, which is good because there's no reason to play that first stuff. And it lets you keep like your map that you filled out. But now there are specific like missions and stuff you do during this to earn currency and stuff like that. It's really just like a different way to play the game and go through old content with other stuff to do. And then there's like these hearts you get, and then you can use the hearts to spawn this other stuff. It's just a shitload more stuff. Yeah,
so I've just been working on that, and I the problem with that game, as we said before, is I just get sidetracked with the side missions.
Oh, it's insane. That's why I didn't finish the story until they said you had to do it for this. It's like, well, I probably should just blast through that and forget about the rest of it.
So that's the real reason why like I put it on. I didn't mean to put it on pause as long as I have, but I was like, oh, I have to do all this to get to the seasonal content. Well, I kind of want to do that, and like Final Fantasy obviously not going anywhere, so
no. I will say
I've been working on that
really quick about Diablo. Like, Matt, did you buy the battle pass? Because I'm not going to. Like, I don't think it's worth it.
Okay, I haven't looked at it.
It's all cosmetic stuff. It costs. I don't see value.
I went through the whole battle pass too. I did the same thing, and I was like, is it going to be worth it? Like, should I really play through all of this to kind of earn this? But like, it feels like a really dialed down, like exciting battle pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna hold off and hope that maybe like next season they drop something like.
I understand the point of not like having gear with stats in it. I understand that because like then it's pay to win, but at the same time, like who really cares about how you look in this game? Like the camera is in such a way where you don't really see yourself that well, and it costs. What does it cost? Is it $10? It's $10, right?
I think it's $10.
It's $10.
Yeah, and then but you can earn currency back through it, but you only earn like 2/3 of the amount you spend.
Yeah,
I think they should build it in such a way where like, because there's a ton of like unlocks and stuff. There's like 70 or something. They should build it in such a way where like if you manage to finish it, you get your $10 back and you could buy the next one. It should be like if you fulfill all of the content, you've earned your money back and you can buy the next one.
Yeah, or something.
Well, and that's something crazy like that they don't do it like that because like all the other Battle Pass games do it like that.
Okay.
Like,
you earn enough like premium currency in most other games' battle passes for it to seem like it's worth it, or like you're actually buying that currency. But in this, I'm only buying the currency to buy this pass, and I can't earn enough currency to even buy anything. So it's weird. It's not, the value just seems way off. And like you do get free stuff, and for some of the free like cosmetic stuff you get is pretty neat looking. So I don't necessarily even care about like the cosmetic stuff that would be part of the pay part of it. It's just kind of dumb. I just don't get it.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's not worth it. I understand the pay to play thing, but it's not worth it if you're just getting cosmetic skins because, like you said, the camera is at such a weird angle that really the only thing you can see is that person's like headpiece.
Well, and you're always like in the midst of fighting a ton of things at once, and effects are going off, and numbers are popping off. I'm not looking at what my character looks like when I'm running around doing this stuff. And there's not like an incentive in a game like Final Fantasy 14 where like you can literally see what your person looks like, and that's part of the game is making your character look the way you want and creating outfits and stuff, because you can't just kind of hang out in the game. So it's a little, I mean, obviously this is the first battle pass in a game that's supposed to last a decade, so I'm not worried that
they got time to fix that.
They have time to balance it, but
what about the patch? I didn't nerf your character that much at all?
I made a sorcerer, so I couldn't tell you if it made this character better or worse because you have to make a brand new person.
Well, they are fixing the stuff that people are complaining about. Yeah, they've already rolled it back, and then they've already next week. Yeah.
But that's how this game is going to be forever, just like every other game, like Overwatch or something does, where they'll break something when they fix something, and they'll make something too good. But they did, the big mistake they made was they nerfed pretty much everything. And just made it harder for everyone so they took away how powerful it made you feel. Like that's a bad move in a game like this where the point is I want to feel like I'm getting better. But we should, if you want to do it, we should run you. I'll help you run through the story stuff.
Okay.
To finish it, and then you can make a seasonal character. We can do that stuff together.
Okay. We can do that.
I should make all this shit easier, but
let's do it.
I respect my barbarian, so my barbarian's actually
I messed around
now.
with necromancer a little bit more too, and like took some stuff off and moved some stuff around. I that's part of the reason I like the game, and I'm at the point now where I've leveled up to a point where I'm on like the Paragon board where everything I get now is just like stat boosts. Like this is it's a cool way to do this too, and. The way you get points now is instead of just like 1 point a level, you get 4 points a level because you get them like every increment. So it really feels like you're getting better when you do that stuff too, which is good.
I installed, but I have not played it yet. I was trying to play it before we recorded, but it'll probably be next time that we record that Aliens Dark Descent game. I finally opened it. Mm-hmm. But I didn't get a chance to try it. I want to try it and hopefully talk about it next time we record before Armored Core comes out. So, because I am going to get Armored Core. And
that's soon too. That's like a month, right?
End of August.
Yeah.
But I did, last night, they did an update. They finally put out like this new UI update for the Xbox.
I've seen it. It happened on one of them.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like the changes that they made make sense. They simplified a lot of like the main menu when you boot the system. So they put a bunch of like mini icons up at the top of the screen, like where your game library is and stuff. I don't think it's bad. I've seen people complain online, but I don't think people get used to it.
It's still too many ads for the fact that like I own your system and I have your top version of Game Pass. Maybe I'm the person who doesn't need all the ads.
Yeah. Well, the thing that people complain about too is like you used to be able to, like, when you scroll down on the UI, you could actually edit that.
Yeah.
So like you could edit what the next part is. You can't not do that anymore. So
That's
now when you scroll down, the first thing it is here's what's recently been added to Game Pass, which, like, again, for somebody that has Game Pass, that's great. For somebody that doesn't have Game Pass, that's real trash.
Wow.
So, but anyway, what leads me to turning on the system last night, and I just happened to hit that and see like what the recent games were added to Game Pass, and they added I guess this is like an expansion or something that came out on PC a while ago, but it now is out on console. So Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem, which is like a offshoot of the fourth Serious Sam game. So
okay,
I played a little bit of that. It's fucking Serious Sam. Like it's one of those same. They have the same dude doing Serious Sam's voice still, so if you're used to that like weird voice, he still has that. It's exactly what you think the game is. So I played a little bit of that. I'll probably continue playing it because it's one of those. It's just very dumb and like easy to get into. You don't have to think. You're just shooting a bunch of shit. Then the last thing that I've been playing, because I realized like I haven't touched this Steam Deck in a couple months. Like it's literally sat. I just haven't had time. I decided I was like, I should probably pull that out and play something on it. So for whatever reason, and I've not seen the movie this is tied to yet, even though I should, I started playing that Renfield game because I bought it I bought it when it came out because it was like $5 and I wanted to see it's a perfect Steam Deck game.
Sure.
So it is, and I think I said this before, but it is literally Vampire Survivors, except it's 16-bit instead of 8-bit. But it's very well made. It's a very well made Vampire Survivors clone. So you play as Renfield. You can unlock different characters from that movie. Like I said, the problem is I haven't seen the movie yet, so I can't. Other than Renfield and Dracula, I don't know who any of these other people are. Like the first level you play as, you're just in kind of like a graveyard, and there's waves of like thugs coming at you, and it works exactly like Vampire Survivors. You have a slow attack, you kind of just move forward. In this, instead of getting like gems or whatever to power up, you're getting money, and then the money powers you up. So, but it's identical. So it just looks, I would say it looks a little prettier because it's 16-bit, but it's cool. It's fun, and it's given me something to do every night. Like before I go to bed, I play a couple rounds of that on the Steam Deck. So trying to give the Steam Deck, like I said, I bought it. I was really excited. And then I kind of sat it down. And then the other day I was like, I should do something with that. So, but yeah, like I said, I will get back to Final Fantasy 16, but it's on pause right now because I kind of wanted to just get back to Diablo.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I get it.
How about you, Dan? Who you been playing?
Yeah, so I did the Diablo stuff. Speaking of Final Fantasy 16, I finally decided let's just get Final Fantasy mode done now. So I jumped back into that. It's fine because I can skip the cutscenes, and it makes me realize how many of those there actually are. There are a lot, especially when you're not doing like side content to separate out other stuff. Like it's just like rushing forward. It's that game again. It's weird because it doesn't really feel like a new game plus, other than the fact that you have all of the abilities and you keep your weapons.
Okay.
But your weapons, even like the best weapon in the game, like the first go around, which you have to craft and everything, is rendered irrelevant by the time you do the first icon fight because there are things.
Man.
So
is it harder?
It's not, I wouldn't say it's harder. It's just, enemies just take more damage now.
So
it's just, they're spongier than before. And as long as you're moving around, and you do have more powerful abilities now, so that I guess that's meant to kind of balance out the fact that I have like the best Odin ability, which is something that can kill almost anything immediately if you charge her up enough. But it still doesn't feel, doesn't feel like New Game Plus. So that's why I'm just gonna blow through it and be done.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So that's on the list of stuff to kind of get done. I finished Power Wash Simulator in terms of like career mode. You were right. That game does get a little weird, but it does get weird. Not weird enough.
Okay,
it could get a little weirder if it really wanted to. But that game's just great. I did the run through on PS4, and I'll probably play through my PS5 copy again too. Did you get all the trophies? Get the
SpongeBob DLC or whatever? Since that adds,
I got to do that. I was going to finish the main game first. The only thing I have left to do in terms of trophies is like the challenge stuff, which, to be honest, that game just sucks. Like it sucks. It's so the times are so tight. Like I only have you have to get 5 golds. I only have 1 so far. One of them I missed by like 3 seconds. The water challenges just suck because sometimes a game you don't quite know how much of a percentage it's willing to accept to finish something. The worst challenges in that game to me were the ones where it's like use this specific nozzle, and it's like the really shitty one. Oh, the hand where you have to use like the white. Oh man, yeah. It's it makes it take a lot longer.
It takes a lot longer.
Yeah. So I got to find the right maps to do this, like the time challenges to finish this off, and then I'll probably play through it again on PS5 because
it's a great game.
It's a game. It's a great game to just chill out and watch a baseball game and play that at the same time.
Yeah,
because neither one of them requires that much attention. In terms of game, there's one other game I played. I didn't put on the list, but I'll bring it up now. That's that awful. There's like a Fast and the Furious Spy Racers.
The Rise of Shifter?
Yeah, that game. So it came to Plus, and it's supposed to be a pretty easy platinum. So I was like, all right, let's just download it and see. Holy God, that game is terrible. It is.
Is it worse than the other game that came out? Like the actual official, like
this is like shitty Mario Kart. It's basically that's all it is. Your missions are 8-player races against you and your buddies.
Are they like is Vin Diesel's character in the game?
No,
or like
you play as Tony Toretto, which who the hell knows who that is? And then like his crew of kid like teenager
knockoff
racers.
Yeah, I was gonna say knockoff versions of the
I forget.
crew.
I don't even remember the name of the girl I played, but like she is so fucking annoying because the way they talk all the time. It's like every time you hit like the boost mechanic, she goes, catch my drift or something like that. Is like
God.
And it's just shitty Mario Kart levels. The cars are slow and clunky. They control like molasses is the best way to say it. And even when you're going like 160 miles an hour in this game, it doesn't feel like that. Like some games have a really good way to make speed feel real, like Burnout and stuff does. This game does not. It's so terrible. And so I did, challenge mission 1.
So you have not platinumed it yet?
No, it's pretty easy. You just basically have to play it.
Okay.
There's like 5 missions, which are 4 races each. And you just have to get first in each race. It's bad. So I played that as like, I'll get the platinum and be done with it. But even that, it's a mistake. I shouldn't have done it.
It's a no thanks.
Yeah. And the last thing, I didn't play it, but I watched it, is I watched the first 5 episodes of Twisted Metal.
The Peacock original.
Yeah.
Are there only 5 episodes?
There are 11, so I'm half done.
Okay.
Or like about half done. What can I say about Twisted Metal, the show? Reviews for it are, I would say,
not terrible.
They're leaning towards positive. And I would say, as someone who's watching it just to kind of see what it's like, I don't hate it.
Okay.
I think that's an important descriptor. I don't hate it, but it is also very much not Twisted Metal. Like it is not anywhere even close to what Twisted Metal. Sweet Tooth is in it. If you took him out of it and took the name Twisted Metal off of it, this could be any show you wanted it to be.
Okay.
It could be Death Race. It could be. It's not even Death Race because there's no racing. It could be Cannonball Run, but it's not even Cannonball Run.
It's one of those types of things where they bought the license, they took one character people will know,
cars, and they said
pull people in
guns on some cars.
Yeah.
That all being said, Sweet Tooth is easily one of the best parts of it, except he is in 5 episodes. He's only been in 2 so far.
Okay.
Like the main character, Anthony Mackie's character, not a character from the games. The girl that's with him, not a character from the games. They have like this antagonistic thing with a cop who is kind of like, so basically the plot of this is in 2002, and they use 2002 on purpose. In 2002, basically every computer in the world got like shut down. So like every computer got like a virus and shut off, and the world went to hell.
So it's like Y2K.
Kind of. It went
just
so the world went to hell. Planes fell out of the sky. People went crazy, and what people did was they walled off cities. So like San Francisco is a giant wall around Chicago. What was St. Louis is one they show, and his character is someone who makes deliveries between cities. Okay, and he's got his car that shoots guns, and in the first like scene, it's him driving in his car through a mall, like shooting, like fighting, like these 3 other dudes.
All right,
and because they want his cargo and stuff, and the show. The other problem I have with the show, and like it's well shown in the small scene, is it's too silly. Like it tries to be funny, but the jokes either don't land or they're just cringy as hell. Like at one point, he speeds past an EB Games and like crashes through something, and a copy of Twisted Metal falls onto his windshield. gee, what a reference. And then he bites it off.
Okay.
He's talking to himself. He talks to the car. He makes fun of the guys that are trying to kill him. Like the whole thing is just, it has a weird
too
sense
jokey.
of humor. Yeah. And maybe you could do that part with the Sweet Tooth, and they really lean into it in like the Sweet Tooth episode, where it's all kind of a joke. But again, they fight him in a car for 30 seconds before they're not in a car with him anymore. I have seen very little in terms of vehicular combat. There's no Calypso, but there's a character that I think is meant to be him, but not really. Like I said, there's a cop that they are dealing with who kind of like tries to restore order. I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be outlaw, but even then it's not like his characters. And not that I've seen yet. Remember, I have 6 to go. I know that Mr. Grimm is supposed to be in it.
That's cool.
And somebody else, but it's such a weird.
It's a weird thing.
The show is fine. Like the show is fine. It's not Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, Sweet Tooth goes on like a killing spree on foot. It is called Twisted Metal.
Yeah.
Implying that cars blow up. So maybe
seems
there's
like
going to be something at the end.
That seems like it sounds like they're kind of building Sweet Tooth's character specifically off of Twisted Metal Black.
Well, that's what I think. I think Black has got to be the inspiration for all of this.
Okay.
But still, the point of Twisted Metal is a series of games for a car combat game. Actually, has a story.
Yeah, it does.
Like, enter this competition and you'll get whatever you wish for. And then at the end, I'm going to twist the wish to kind of fuck you at the end. Like, that's the whole point of Twisted Metal. And this, I need you to pick up something from me from Chicago and bring it back. And then
so it's Death Stranding.
And then he just kind of gets in, he gets into situations on the way.
Yeah.
That, of course, he's never run into before in all of his years doing this. But the minute he has to go do this important thing that'll change his life, everything goes to hell. So it's just like certain circumstances. I mean, I'll definitely finish it just because why wouldn't I at this point? And maybe it is leading to some giant car combat thing at the end.
Okay.
But I wish it had the supernatural tones to it.
Because that's a big part of Twisted Metal is like a lot of the supernatural
the whole point was
aspects.
like Calypso will grant any wish you want. It could be anything. Like in one of them, I think it's Black, where Outlaw like goes back in time.
Yeah,
and like so, it's I don't know. It's not Twisted.
Weird.
I don't hate it. I'll finish it, and I'm sure at the end I'll be like, yeah, it was fine. But it could be anything. It seems like this is almost like a show somebody had an idea for. And then they're like, well, we got this Twisted Metal license. Oh, I could jam that in there. I'll just add a killer clown. Done. So
there you go.
But that's it for me in terms of what I've played and / watched.
All right, Matt, what about you?
Nothing new. Diablo 4 playing through the season, and Pikmin 3 still working through that. I don't know. I'm enjoying Pikmin 3 a lot more now that I'm kind of getting into it more. So I kind of am looking forward to having 4 come out. I don't know, like we've said before, if I'm going to buy it, like when it's first drops. Out. Oh, it is out.
It is out. Yeah. It came out last Friday.
Oh, well, dang. Well, I don't know if I'm going to buy it anytime soon, but I definitely am going to buy it to go ahead and play through it, though. Because I am really digging on Pikmin 3 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like I said before, I'm pretty sure 4 is going to hit that, like, the Nintendo $40 sale at some point where around Christmas they always pick, like, 6 to 8 games and make them $20 off.
Yeah. And I figured since I'm going to buy the Mario RPG when it first drops, I got to save money somewhere else. So Pikmin is just going to take the hit. Just because, I mean, when Mario RPG drops, I'll definitely get that and definitely be into that. So,
I think that's all the 3 of us are going to play that week.
Yeah.
When that comes
it's weird. It's weird to me that I think November, I'm trying to think if there's any other big game this year in November so far that's been announced. I think the only game I have is Super Mario RPG Remake. I was trying to think. I don't think Spider-Man's October. Most of the big shit's in September, like Mortal Kombat, Starfield.
Yeah.
You know, so it's possible something might still get, announced for November, but we'll see.
Yeah, either way.
So, well, we can kick over to news because we got some big breaking news, huge breaking news today.
Incredible news.
News as Chris Jericho would say, the walls have been broken down.
Oh my God. Terrible reference, but okay.
Phil Spencer has done the impossible. And as he said a couple months ago, he was going to get on a plane and go over and talk to Square Enix. He has done it. And he has worked with them to bring Final Fantasy XIV to the Xbox Series consoles next spring. Along with that, they've also formed some sort of partnership where future Square Enix games they will work closely with Square Enix to bring future Square Enix games to the Xbox platform. So whatever like has happened in the last like 5 years, like the falling out, it seems like that's all been patched now.
Yeah.
Does that mean
something happened at some point?
Yeah. And does that mean you're going to see 16 on the Xbox? I don't think so. I think there was probably a deal cut there with Sony.
Well, I also think 16 was never made for the Xbox in mind, right?
No.
At least 14, you could make the argument to me that is a PC game, and it would arguably be easier to put a PC game on an Xbox.
Well, I would imagine Sony gave Square Enix some money for development costs and marketing. Yeah, for Final Fantasy VI.
So my thought is like there's contracts out there that are written in such a way where Square was just locked into this stuff, but Square, I think they're also in a place now where they are not in trouble anymore. They don't have to be bought anymore. They cut the stuff they didn't care about, like Tomb Raider, which is still still maintain is a weird thing to cut, but they cut the stuff they didn't care about, like Tomb Raider and and other stuff out of there to focus on let's just be the Final Fantasy Dragon Quest company and just do that.
The other thing that you have to remember too is with the Activision Blizzard deal, going through now or will go through, that Sony has to play nice with all the crossplay. And that was a big part of Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 14 clearly has to be cross-platform and cross-play with PlayStation and with PC. So not only did you have to get Square Enix on board for that, but you also got to get Sony on
I'm interested to see how that matters with this, because remember 11 was on PS2 and 360. And the reason that worked is because you weren't technically playing it on the console when you played it.
No,
you logged into like a server, which you still kind of do with this, where you log into, Mog Station. So I'm wondering if that's, obviously that's the weird way like around it.
Yeah.
Where you're logging into Square to play their game. And that's another one of those things where, since you have to pay for 14 online, you don't have to play for gold to play this.
No, you don't.
Because that's an important rule for that stuff is free to play stuff. You don't have to anymore. But
So what do you think?
Stuff out of FanFest.
What do you think happens as far as like other stuff that exists? Like, obviously, I don't think 16 will come over. I think that's going to remain exclusive. What about remake?
I think there's a path for that now.
Okay.
I mean, think about this game. That game's been out long enough. It was also a PS4 game, so that wouldn't be as hard to adapt.
And you could launch that in the Game Pass, and I really don't think Square Enix would care as much now.
It's been out so long.
No,
especially
it's been out for a minute.
They gave it out on Plus at some point.
Well, and remake,
and
Rebirth is in what, 8 months?
Yeah. So, probably like March.
Yeah,
I would assume.
There's not. I don't think they're banking on remake sales anymore, especially like the PS5 version. Could I see it coming right away? Maybe not. I also think it would be weird if like that came out, but then Rebirth didn't come out on that. And I would find it hard to believe that Rebirth is in any way being made for Xbox right now.
Yeah.
So maybe there's a scenario where when they get to the third game, we worked on the third game will be on both, and we worked on getting these other two ready to go at the same time. So maybe by the time Game 3 comes out,
I don't think there's a world in which they only bring out 7 Remake Part 1 and then go, whatever. Like, you would have to put all 3.
All 3 have to come or don't do it. There's no point.
There's no point. What do you think about like the Pixel remasters? Like, certainly those can come over.
That's open now for sure.
Yeah,
those are on Switch for God's sake. Like those can come to Xbox.
Because again, like you look at smaller things, not say, I mean, I guess that in comparison, those are smaller things, but like look at something like Crisis Core Remake that came to the Xbox.
Yeah. And there's got to be something about that game where there was a reason that did and other things didn't.
It has to do with whatever fractured like business relationship they clearly had.
Xbox tried to make good on being a Square partner a long time ago. Remember that when they had that big thing where they were like 7,
all
8,
those games on
10,
Game Pass,
12, they're all coming. Right.
But they didn't come at the same time.
But they fucked it up and they released them in a weird staggered thing, and then they would take them off, and it was just like, you can't do it that way. What you should have done is said, we're getting them all. They're all going to be available from this date for 6 months.
Yeah. I also wonder if they re-up those now because of whatever they patched up. Or like, hey, we put those back on. Can
we get those back for a little while to like celebrate this kind of thing?
Well, the other thing to remember is the Tokyo Game Show is coming up, I think, in September. And they have said a couple times, like, they're going to have a heavier than typical presence at this year's TGS.
Well,
Microsoft.
Well, I think they want to get more Japanese stuff on the system, but does this mean Dragon Quest 12 comes to Xbox? Maybe.
Yes. I think so. 11 came to it.
I guess part of that, well, did it right away? I don't think it did right away, right?
It didn't come right away. It was the S version, yeah.
So does this mean that 12 comes to Xbox right away? Maybe. Because, I mean, Dragon Quest, again, while you and I know that's a fantastic game, does not sell especially well in America as it does in other parts of the world. But, I mean, that's at least something. Not that it matters to me. Like, I'm at the point now where, like, Final Fantasy is a PlayStation game. It just is.
Yeah, that's a lot of most people.
None of this really matters in the long run, but it's important for them to have a relationship with Square again. And again, I think
for it to be on more platforms.
Yeah, and again, I think this shows that Square actually has independence, and they're not looking for a Sony buyout anymore.
I don't think they're looking for a buyout at all.
Would they be putting 14 on Xbox if Sony was like gonna buy them? No. Never, especially now with the Activision stuff, that would never happen again.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like it's a good announcement. It's been a long time coming. That being said, it's not going to happen for almost a year.
Yeah.
But that's because they're timing it with the new expansion, which is good. Because that's ideally when you want to release it, because if it's anything like the PlayStation version, it's going to be free to play up to a certain expansion and a certain level and all this stuff anyway. Because the point of 14 is to get you hooked, and then you keep paying.
Yeah,
which, that game to play for free, that's an incredible game to play. You can play, and it's funny too because you can play a lot of content in that game for free.
Yeah,
it is crazy.
It's a staggering amount. Yeah.
But that being said, like this new expansion looks great. I'm probably that's when I'll go back to play more.
Do they give like a timeline of like when
summer or spring?
Spring. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it just looks. It's it's gonna be tropical. There's level cap increase, new dungeons, new enemies, new jobs, like everything you'd want from an MMO expansion. This is gonna have.
Yeah.
So I'm super in. They're adding new raids, new PvP update, obviously new gear, duty support, which is like the party finder stuff. Like that game has one of the best like party finder things I've ever experienced in an MMO, especially when 11's was so bad. 14 is just like simplified it so much.
I mean, that game's taken over as like the number one MMO now, so
it's the best one by far. Like it's like nothing even touches it.
You got people to leave WoW to play it. So
yeah, well, it's like I was telling you before, like Yoshi Pete, like give it up to that. This guy has like completely saved Square Enix.
Yeah, between that Final Fantasy 16,
basically made 16, and even I love his new thing lately too, where people obviously they hate 16 just to hate it because it's the cool thing to do, and he basically just says, "I'm not going to read that shit anymore. Like I don't care." Yeah, because you shouldn't. Because 16 is great. Yeah. I hope they follow through with the DLC stuff for it. Because like let's be real. We ain't getting a 17.
Oh gosh, 2030. 2030.
That sounds soon.
It sounds soon to you. Okay. I mean, if you look at the timeline, like 2015 was Final Fantasy 15, so
sure.
It's possible.
But at the same time, they weren't making parts 2 and 3 of the 7 remake. When they were making
that's
that.
the thing. They have to.
Which,
plus,
to be fair,
if there's that rumored remake of 9,
I want those too. And if the 9 remake is real, I would happily take a 9 remake in lieu of a 17 earlier. If you're going to give me that,
yeah.
And then after 17,
I think
then
a lot of people.
That's when
you
finally give me the 10 remake, and or what they really need to remake, and they won't do it, and it's dumb. Is they really
6
Tactics?
Oh, Tactics. Yeah.
I think if they remade Tactics and like blew that out and made that look like real, and like a grown up version of that, God, that would sell unbelievable. But you'd have to keep it Tactics, and you'd have to keep it like Squares and RPG, and I don't know.
Do you think part of the reason they don't is because they just keep making all these other like adjacent Tactics games, like Triangle Strategy and Dalefield Chronicles,
and the fact that
stuff.
Like those are seemingly doing well enough for them that I feel like they don't have to go back. It's bizarre. Yeah,
but it's bizarre. You think like if those are selling well enough, why not just go to Final Fantasy? Now you have the brand, on the box.
I think people would go crazy for a Tactics remake. I know that I would buy that immediately. I'm a bad person to say that because I buy all of them immediately. But like Tactics would be awesome because it was great on PlayStation 1. They made that PSP version, which is like somehow better. Like the War of the Lions thing, or if they could just update that and put it on like PlayStation Premium or something. What if I could play? They're putting PSP on there.
Yeah.
Put Tactics on there. God, put all the weird ones. Put Tactics. Put Third Birthday. Put which is a Parasite game in name only.
Yeah.
But like you did Crisis Core, make Tactics.
Yeah. It's weird that they don't. So
I think it's probably. I would imagine they've got a list somewhere of like potential stuff we could make, and I'm sure that's on the very short list.
Right.
So the next news item we actually have an email to go along with it. So I'm going to read the email first. This comes from Brad from Tucson, California. He says, "Hey guys, I was curious what you all think about Xbox ditching gold for Game Pass Core. Personally, I think it's absurd that both companies still charge to play online." So the big news here is that I almost said GameStop there. Microsoft is ditching Xbox Live Gold the end of August. So which they actually did put out like the final 2 games. They're going to release. They're trash.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity to go out with a banger.
Not been good in years almost. And they
because
really
of Game Pass, and that's why.
Yeah. They could have blown it out and made the 2 final like games we're just going to give you 2 of the better Game Pass games. Mm-hmm. Like that would have made more sense to me. Like we're switching it to Game Pass. Here's an example, and you're just going to get to keep these games.
Like, what if it was like, hey, Sea of Thieves has been out for 5 years. Here you go.
Just Halo Infinite. Yeah. Fuck it. Because
there you go. I could get behind that. Yeah, why cares? That would have been huge. That would have brought numbers way up for that game.
They're not selling Halo Infinite, right? They never have. They're selling you to continue to play that game. So why not?
Well, they don't sell. That game doesn't sell anyways because when you buy it, you're not buying the multiplayer. That's free. You're buying the campaign.
Exactly. So why not give people like it could have been Halo Infinite and the last Forza game, and they could have just said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
Because wouldn't you want to like get people excited for the new Forza game or a reason to upgrade to the next Game Pass
or something? Yeah.
It's just like there's something that they could have done better.
So they've rolled all the gold stuff basically into Game Pass Core. The only real big difference here, obviously, you're still using this to play online. So you're going to have some version of Game Pass now to play online, unless it's a free to play game like Fortnite or one of those that doesn't require it. But they have like a curated list of like 25 games that will be on Game Pass Core that they're going to rotate
good,
out.
To be fair,
the list is fine. Yeah. It's kind of like.
Did they say they were going to rotate, or did they say they were going to add more to it?
They're going to keep it at the number 25, is my understanding. But they will at some point probably rotate some stuff in and out of it. But it's going to stay at that smaller because again, it's also designed for you to go, hey, you could get these 25 games, or you could come over here for $5 more and get a lot more. Yeah. So
It's funny because we brought it up last week, and I think I even said it's like, why are we paying for online anymore?
It was literally announced the day after we recorded.
I know. This is so close. I really think the power move would have been to be Games with Gold is gone, and you know what? We're just going to let you play games online without a subscription, and then introduce this Game Pass Core thing as like a middle tier.
Yeah.
So like, here's a free thing where you can just play stuff online. You don't get access to any of the stuff. It's just you play stuff online for free. Game Pass Core will give you like the small library for $25, and it's what, $10? They could have made that $8. $8 a month. You can pay $25, and then if you want to blow it out, you can get the big one where you get 15. New games day of. I think that's a better model because there's also that would have been a huge like fuck you to Sony, where basically like you introduced your new like game, you know, your plus system to kind of compete with us, but now we're going to make it different from you again.
Like the only way that that's ever going to change is one of the two companies to say, hey, we're not charging you for online play anymore.
Right. So why does Microsoft pull that then? Because
I don't understand why they don't do it. They
could have done it, because especially now that Activision Blizzard thing's going to go through, and you're going to see every old Call of Duty game put on this thing.
Yeah.
Every old like Diablo game, like obviously not 4, but like every other thing put on this thing. Like you're bulking the library. So you make the library the value, and you make, sure, you can play 2K online against your buddy for free. Sure, you can play Grand Theft Auto online for free. We're not here about that. We want you to get subscriptions. So you could lower the Game Pass Core price, give them the 25 rotating things, be like, hey, every month 2 of these drop off and 2 things come in.
Yeah.
And that way, you know, in a month when the one game you liked dropped off, oh, but it's still on Ultimate. Well, maybe I should get Ultimate then.
Yeah.
So there's sure
definitely
they
a way to do it smarter.
I'm sure they looked at numbers and figured out like this is a way to do it, because they're still gonna want to make you pay to play online. But man, what a kick in Sony's ass that would have been. And you can't tell me they couldn't afford to make this change when they just paid $69 billion to buy Call of Duty and King, and like
they could have really came out swinging now with this, the Final Fantasy news, ABK, like they could have. So but
they can even made it like a limited time thing. It's like, you know what? For 6 months, we're going to turn it off. Like, you don't have to pay to play online on Xbox.
They do free weekends like that all the time. So
yeah, but blow it out, man. Like, go if you want to. Like, you know, all those emails came out during that thing where they're like, we want to crush Sony, we want to do this, we want to do that. Then fuck it, go for it. You are the one company that can. Why don't you do it? I just don't get it.
Exactly. I also think a lot of especially the Activision deal is setting up for whatever the next generation is, because now when we get to whatever that is, you know, let's say 2028, I'll just throw out a hypothetical year. Let's say we get to that point, and now it's the time where, you know, your average Call of Duty player has to pick a system. What do you think they're going to pick? The one that they have to pay $70 for Call of Duty, or the one they can just pay for a $15 a month subscription to play it?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be very interesting. Like this generation, like
it helps for the future when the thing is locked down, when they've added the library to Game Pass, and they make the announcement that say Call of Duty Modern Warfare 5 is coming out to you know, whatever day. Game Pass is day one.
Day one.
Remember too? Wasn't there part of the like the supposed deal they offered Sony was like they would put it on Plus day one too, and Sony turned it down?
So I want to say that was part of it,
at some point.
But a big part of the original deal that they offered was everything. All those other things. Yeah, like, you know, Crash Bandicoot, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now, all of that is off the table. It is just Call of Duty is the deal that they signed. So, like,
it's the only deal they have left.
And because they were thrown through the mud for this, of course they're going to lock all that shit down. I would.
Yeah.
At this point. Sure. So, after going through, you know, 18 months of this garbage. So, next thing I put on here, this was just kind of random. I'm not surprised it happened, but I thought it was random. High on Life is now out on PlayStation 4 and 5. They just put it out. They showed off like 9 minutes of this High on Knife DLC, which is out in October. Which I find it funny. Like a big chunk of that DLC is that Kenny gun that is voiced by Justin Roiland. Oh, he can't speak anymore in this DLC. Weird. so they've like written that into the story. So instead of that being like the main character doing the talking, it's the knife this time. But the knife is upgraded. The knife is upgraded as like a mini chainsaw now, so it looks pretty cool. So that DLC looks pretty cool, but again, it's good. Like, more people should play High on Life. It's a very good,
fun game.
Very fun. Really reminds me of like the original Xbox era when they just kind of put out weird exclusive games.
How much is it?
Kind of what the game. It is a full price $60 game. So here's what I'll say. At some point, I bet you it comes to Plus. And that's when you should play.
Yeah, it could.
Is what I would tell you. Because I think right now, they want to try and see if people will buy it. And then at some point, they'll be like, fuck it. Put it on Plus. So, so we talked about this a couple weeks ago when Mortal Kombat 1 got announced. That was heavily rumored who the DLC characters would be for the first DLC pack. They finally just said, fuck it. Ed Boon put out the trailer. All of that is true.
Everybody
so they put out a trailer. Yeah. It is everybody that was in that leak is in it. So you have Omni-Man from Invincible. You have Peacemaker. I thought it was funny in the trailer. Fucking Peacemaker, when he walks out, the little eagle makes a eagle.
He's going to be a huge part of it, I'm sure.
It's great.
I'm sure he's part of his fatality too, which will be great.
You have Homelander. So Homelander is definitely part of it. And I read Omni-Man is the first person that'll be out like a couple weeks after the game's out.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually got J.K. Simmons to come and do his voice,
great.
which tells me that they are totally going to put the dude that is Homelander.
Oh,
totally get that.
I don't think,
and John Cena sat down.
I don't think they would do it where they don't get the person. Because every time they've done this, they've gotten the person to do the voice, right? Even like Terminator and stuff, it was Arnold.
Yeah. So, but
it's a cool perfect pack of like guest characters / returning characters.
Yeah, you got Ermac is in there.
Quan Chi, I think, is in there.
Quan Chi, it's like a different version of Quan Chi, I believe.
Well, Ermac and looks different too, but
and then Takeda.
Yeah.
So great. It's a great pack. It's literally like there's not a character I look at in that pack and go, that's a waste. No. Like they're all good,
characters.
So we're like really riding this out to
that game is
be an incredible Mortal Kombat game.
Good. It's gonna be so awesome.
So, but it's going to be cool. That is out in September. So, and then that, like I said, within the first couple weeks, they'll have that Omni-Man will be the first one. So,
did you see that they're supposedly leaked the second pack?
No. I didn't see that.
Who's supposedly in that?
No.
Oh, so apparently in the second pack, it's Bo Raicho.
Okay.
Dramin.
I don't know who that is. Don't remember that person.
I don't either.
Probably a later.
I don't know how to pronounce this, but HSUHAO.
Okay.
Moloch.
Okay.
And Rain. They said
Rain.
Most of these characters are from the Mortal Kombat 3D era.
3D era.
Yeah. Okay. Well, 3. Yeah, like 4 is when they started to add like kind of random people. So like 1, 2, and 3 are like their own, universe of like storyline.
I think that's
stuff.
kind of important now at this point because you kind of went back and you did that era with 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah, so we've already done apparently, those are the cameo fighters.
Oh,
the new fighters that are coming out are supposed to be Doomslayer, Noob Saibot, Kano, Serena, Harley Quinn, and Deathstroke.
Those make sense though, because you can put Harley Quinn and Deathstroke in a Mortal Kombat game now. They have,
for sure.
There's a fucking R-rated Joker movie coming out next year with Harley Quinn in it.
That's true. Because like the main thing was they always tried to stay away from.
They don't care now.
Like killing them. Remember that was the big thing with like the MK vs DC game was.
I still think like. You're not going to put Batman in a Mortal Kombat game and have him killing people. That's not going to happen. But you can totally put Harley Quinn in and be fine. Deathstroke kills people, so you can put him. But the Doomslayer, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I can believe that.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
So He's all about ripping and tearing. So
that's true.
He's gonna be ripping and tearing. That's good, and I could totally see that. So, next thing in here is kind of interesting. Insomniac is apparently working on another AAA game outside of Spider-Man 2, which is out in October, and the Wolverine game, which I would assume at this point is probably like next fall.
Yeah,
so
probably.
They'll probably start showing that early next year, I would assume. So, that's all there really is. Like, who knows what the game actually is?
I don't want a new game. I want Sunset Overdrive 2.
I was going to say, I know what you want. I know what I want.
That's what I want.
Sunset Overdrive 2. And I don't care. If that's Sony exclusive, who cares?
Sure, man. Who cares? Like, it's such a great game. Who gives a shit?
They would have to buy the rights for that from Microsoft, but whatever. Pay the money.
I'm sure Microsoft owns it.
Pay the money. Hey, whatever. They can make nice with them. That's their. If they can have Microsoft as a publisher for Call of Duty, do you think they could make a deal now and be like, hey, pay the publishing rights to make this if they wanted to?
I think they could. Microsoft would only allow that if it was on both systems.
But I think also at the same time, like, even if that was going to happen, would they do it for Sunset Overdrive? Probably not.
No, that's a one and done, which is sad.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because it was a great game.
It's a great game.
Maybe in 10 years.
It's so good. It's one of my favorites. Like,
it is.
Ever.
In that, I'll say, like, I always say this, like, the Xbox One was disappointing for a lot of reasons in, like, the early days, but it had some real banger exclusive games.
It had
Dead Rising 3.
It had weird, like,
Rise was
stuff
good.
that was just good. Rise was good. It actually played well. It looked incredible. Like,
Sunset Overdrive was a fantastic game. So
I enjoyed what I played of that.
I still have my hoodie. That hoodie I won.
That's good.
Which is great.
That's good.
And I have a can of the drink. I showed you that, right?
Yeah.
I have a can of the drink, which was some recent energy drink, but it's so cool.
It's cool. Tencent has bought Dying Light developer Techland. I guess not surprising. They're always circling for I would say smaller, but yeah. This was posed the other day in something I was watching where, like, if for some reason the ABK deal fell through, could Tencent potentially come in? And I think if they were to, I think the deal would be scrutinized even more than Microsoft buying.
That'd be that's a little different. That's a foreign country buying that. And would they pay that much money for it? I don't know.
Right.
This is kind of disappointing because I like this game. I never finished it, but Immortals Phoenix Rising 2 has reportedly been canceled amid Ubisoft pivoting to established franchises. So they kind of are Ubisoft's in a lot of trouble this last year. Obviously, we know we've talked about it at length on here, but it makes sense to pivot to established franchises. But it's still kind of a bummer. Like, I think this game had to have sold pretty decently. It was one of the few, like,
from what I saw, games. People liked it pretty well.
It was a decent game. Like, I played a chunk of it. I didn't finish it. But it was a good, like, there's really not much out for the Xbox Series X at launch. I guess I'll try this Immortals game. So it wasn't a bad game, but it is a little disappointing because they definitely could have done more with that. So it is also a very colorful game. Mm-hmm. So very vibrant. There's been more Red Dead Redemption remake / remaster rumors. They've now put out like an updated logo for that game.
Yeah, it's like
at this point they
did something like Rockstar Presents it or something. Like, yeah, it's real.
I think it seems like it's happening. So, like, why don't we just fucking get it over with?
Go ahead and
do
it. Like,
start your pre-order campaign at this point. Like, people will buy it.
As long as it's not a mess like that Grand Theft Auto thing was, it's fine.
I hope not. But I think it won't be, simply because this is something that's much newer. Like the GTA collection thing, which was the older games from that era. That's going back 20 years. This is only going back 10 years. And also, like, you can technically play Red Dead Redemption on an Xbox Series X right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fully backwards compatible game. So I don't think it would be that hard for them to port that up and make it look prettier. So unless they're doing some crazy revamp where, like, it's in Unreal 5 or something, but I don't think they're going that far with
That'd be a lot to do, especially when they're working on Grand Theft Auto 6. Like,
it would be weird, especially when like you think that they could. If for them, I would have thought that they would have taken this time to make a new version of Red Dead 2, which is much newer, and put that out, kind of like GTA 5 style.
Yeah,
I think the reason they didn't do that is because what online game is selling, what isn't. GTA 5 online is still insane. Red Dead Redemption Online for Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't hit it off.
Not so much.
So, I'll turn this one a little bit over to you, Dan, because you probably know a little bit more about it. But another GameStop CFO is quitting.
Oh, it's just like another higher up leaves the room. So they literally just ousted their CEO last month. Said get out of here. And then, they were joking about it and everything was funny. And well, now, your buddy Chewy's in charge. And then now the current CFO just says, "Now I'm out in August. Like, goodbye." She's like gone in like the next 2 weeks. It's just more turnover at the top of this company. What else can they do to prove that like they cannot keep executives in place? Name a successful company that rotates CEOs and CFOs at the basis of like one a year.
No,
it's nuts.
There is.
Like the stuff, she probably saw the writing on the wall. The stock
Absolutely.
is, ever since it meme stock to hell, it's garbage now. Like it is. It's not anywhere close to what it was. It's fallen back to normal levels. They're not going to have console releases this holiday. They'll have them in stock, but it's not like it's a surge of what's going to happen.
For sure.
The games this holiday season are not blockbuster games. It's not Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah. It's Spider-Man and Mortal Kombat and whatever the Call of Duty game is. Like Madden doesn't sell well anymore. It's just.
But let me ask this: like, even in today's modern age, let's say hypothetically, GTA 6 was a game that was coming out this fall.
Mm-hmm.
That something like that even couldn't save GameStop.
No,
because how many people are just going to buy that digitally?
No, but I'm talking like system sales and attach.
True.
I think if you go to a store to buy a PlayStation 5 and Grand Theft Auto is there, you'll buy it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you already have a console, Grand Theft Auto is the kind of game where it's like, wouldn't you want to just have that on your system all the time?
Yeah.
So maybe that is a better digital purchase. Again, not for me because I'm going to be physical until it doesn't exist anymore. Just because.
No, exactly.
But even I buy digital stuff that I've passed on when it's on sale. I don't go out looking for a physical copy when it goes cheap. I just wait for the digital version to go on sale. But I think what I'm saying is like systems will sell this holiday because they do every holiday. That's just a thing that happens. Like Switches are going to sell because they always sell. And like PlayStations will, Xboxes maybe, who knows. But you don't have like the major game which is driving system sales. You're not running out. Like people who do not have a PS5 will buy one to play Grand Theft Auto 6.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that is a system selling game. Other than that, there isn't one.
I think to add to that, like I would argue Spider-Man 2 is a system selling game this fall. Like
in some ways,
the way that first Spider-Man game sold, the way people are excited about this one.
Say in some ways, yes, but I think you got to remember, like a lot of this other group of people are the people who only play Grand Theft Auto, or the people who only play 2K, or the people who will run out and buy a system for Elder Scrolls 6. Like there are, but like those are groups of people now. Like Souls people are a group of people now.
Yeah,
Spider-Man is for a set amount of people. And it only being on PS5 will help. I mean, you can look at the nightmare that was the Spider-Man shit today, where plates were gone 10 minutes before they were supposed to be available for sale, when they're now being sold for 3 times as much on eBay.
Not surprising.
Which is a bummer because I could not get them. I got a controller, but
I was gonna say you got the controller.
Controller's fine. The plates is at the end
What's
of the
the controller retail for?
$80.
That's not bad.
It's for a
hot looking controller.
Yeah, it's a great controller. The plates, I'm bummed I didn't get him. In the long run, it saves me $75. Fine, I don't care. Not that big of a deal. But the systems, the systems were expensive and like those sold. But that collector's edition that I passed on, you can still buy that.
I'm not surprised by that.
But
there's no reason.
Spider-Man is a game I think a lot of people care about, but it's just like that's not going to save GameStop.
GameStop is
it's not. GameStop, to get back to it, like GameStop is banking on this card somehow driving collectible sales, but they still can't get collectibles right. They still can't even ship collectibles to stores properly. I just saw another thing on Reddit where somebody else got more glass bowls shipped in a box with a console and they all broke. Like because they don't know what they're doing. Or like shipping Pokemon cards, they just throw packs in a box and it's up to you to put them on the wall where they could be rubber banded together or something. No, they don't care. They still, how many years after we've left, they still can't ship things properly. So how is this company supposed to run properly? Like collectibles are not going to save it.
This will bring me to the GameStop subreddit. So we look at it from time to time. We don't really comment. I've never commented on it.
I stay out of it just because
there's no reason.
I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight with other people about opinions or what
I'm
is
not
true or how things work.
With like the people that are salty or the people that are Kool-Aid drinkers still work there.
Kool-Aid drinkers.
So speaking of the Kool-Aid drinkers, so this is the one that rubbed me the wrong way today. So somebody posted in the GameStop subreddit, can't pre-order items anymore without pro membership. Question, obviously. And the first thing to say here is like, this is not a new thing. This did not start with GameStop Pro rebranding. Like this, I think, didn't this kind of start like towards the end that we were getting out?
There were a couple
like,
things.
It's been a while.
Like you had to have a card.
Specific things.
Yeah, and
it's usually like things, collector's editions.
Things,
yeah,
stuff they wanted to control. System bundles. Remember, I think Switch did it for a little bit. You had to have a card.
So the Spider-Man controller is something that required you to have a Pro card. Okay. The reason I got a little triggered on this, because there's a lot of back and forth in this thread about, the value of GameStop Pro. The Kool-Aid drinkers still work there. And this is what triggered me. Try to compare having a GameStop membership now, the current GameStop Pro, as we've discussed at length on this podcast, which is not very good and has taken away value. They're trying to compare and say, oh, it's like having a membership to Sam's Club or Costco.
It's not even
close.
It
is not, motherfucker.
Not even close.
Like, no, it is not. Like, that is such a complete not thing. Like, that was something, like, I read it, I put my phone down, I'm like, I can't even process this right now.
And Costco.
Jesus.
If anybody isn't aware, like, the point of those places is you buy a membership to be able to buy things in bulk.
Save that way.
Which essentially makes it cheaper. You're shopping at a distribution, almost like a distribution center, where you can get things cheaper.
That's a good way to put it.
You just have to pay to be able to shop there. But if you shop at Sam's Club 5 times a year, it pays for it. And I do like one run of Sam's Club for like certain items, like every 6 weeks. Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah. Or like, that's how I got my computer was through them. Because it was cheaper to get an iMac through them because of that. Like that alone probably paid for my subscription to be able to buy there. But like you think a pro membership's getting me a discount off of an iMac or an Xbox or a PlayStation even? No.
Hell no.
You can't even give me a fucking magazine anymore.
So like it just I get it like I get it for the people that work there out there that are still drinking the Kool-Aid, but like that is a bad argument. To me it's a non-argument. Like these are two things that are not the same at all. So I just wanted to briefly bring it up. Like again, we don't post on the GameStop subreddit. I
really disagree with having to have a card to get specific pre-orders, like limited consoles, certain bundles,
controllers,
because you offer that. It's like a perk of being a member of the store, and and the thing is like you do that for like the first 2 days, and if I've got leftovers, then anybody can get them. Like that's not the problem. The problem is like. I don't know. The problem there's deeper problems, but
there's deeper problems.
don't defend the card because it's a Sam's Club membership.
No. Final
Real
news.
Quick,
go ahead
before we jump into that.
Okay,
we were talking about collector's editions and controllers and whatnot.
Sure. Yeah.
Did you guys peep this? It is the
turtle.
I mean, the turtle thing.
It's cool. I'd give a damn if it was in a contest. Like the minute anything comes out cool, where it's like we're making this specific Xbox or we're making this controller, and they say enter retweet to win, I just go, that doesn't exist. It's never existed.
It's hard.
No one who gives a damn is ever going to win that controller or show it off. Like they're pointless. Like it's
and
a cool
the sad thing is like if people do happen to win it, they're going to throw it on eBay for like $250.
Absolutely.
No, that'll be worth more than that because I think you get it's. I've seen
it though. It's cool
how it works, but they're cool. I retweeted because I'm a sucker, but I mean, pretend like they don't exist.
Final news article I put in here just because I thought this was cool. Slender the Arrival, which came out 10 years ago, which seems crazy. They're doing a 10th anniversary update for the game where I assume you will have to purchase this because it's been 10 years, but they're remaking the game in Unreal 5. So, which if you look at the screenshots, it is a night and day difference between how the game looked 10 years ago versus how it looks on Unreal 5. So I just thought it was cool. That was a very, obviously the Slender stuff that was like, it's kind of crazy to think about. That was 10 years ago already when that was kind of the big, was that a precursor to like Five Nights at Freddy's and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, that was like the huge thing that like, a lot of like those kind of YouTubers got famous off of.
Yeah.
That was kind of what started. That's kind of what started like I play horror games on YouTube.
Yeah,
movement,
fair enough. So
that and Amnesia were like the first two that like
Amnesia is a really good game.
Huge, and then Five Nights took it to like the next level.
So, but this looks cool. It's supposed to be out later this fall. So I just want to throw it in here. I think it looks cool. I will check it out. So, now I'm going to turn over to you, Dan, because you have something new.
We're going to do it. I had this idea. I was talking to a friend of mine just about, old stores and stuff. So I thought we'd make this a new segment where we just read some GameStop store reviews. And just because if you're an employee who's ever worked at one and you've ever read the reviews about your store, you know that a lot of them can be sometimes hilarious in how wrong they are. Or maybe you can even remember the people that said it to you. But I figured for fun, we would just, maybe pick a random store every week. Or if you work at one and you'd like us to read yours, you can just email us and give me your store number. And we can read them. We won't say that you requested it.
We won't
out you.
We won't say your name.
Yeah, but I thought, what better way to kick off this potential segment than to read our store reviews?
Okay.
Which admittedly were difficult to find because as our store is now currently like removed from Google, those reviews have all but disappeared. Because they're almost irrelevant. So I was able to find some Yelp ones for our store. So I figured we just read these and some of them are from when we worked there, some of them aren't.
Is the picture just a generic picture?
Yeah, that's not our store.
Okay. No, that is not our fucking store.
Yeah, that is not ours. Unless it was.
No, there's no way.
No, it couldn't be. That's not our thing. That's just a generic picture.
That's what
that
was
also from a long time ago. So I don't necessarily even know that it was for. It had to have been our store because this is listed under our location. But these pictures, that's clearly not the inside of our store either because it wasn't shaped that way. That almost actually looks like the other store.
So if you sort by newest, which obviously
is the other store. Holy crap. Never mind.
It's the other.
Yeah, so if you look at the inside one, I can tell it is because look who's behind the counter. But so this is a kind of a mishmash of the way our store worked is we had two stores in the same town. And if you Googled the town name, it wasn't technically our store, which is weirder because we were there first. So it can get pretty confusing if you're a customer. But so there's a couple here. I'll read them. So I'll start with the oldest one because this was long before I came over.
I was gonna say
this is from 2005. I didn't start working at GameStop until 2009. So I would have been at Game Crazy. To be fair, I tried to find Game Crazy reviews. You can't. They're gone. If they ever existed, they're gone. Well, that store closed in 2009, so I'm not surprised. But this is a good one where I don't know if these are necessarily our store, but it's possible. I get pretty tired of my Xbox game real easily, so I always go here to sell my games. Sometimes they offer really good money back prices on them, but at times I get really little. Remember, this is written in 2005, so it's always been true. So I guess it depends on the game. If you have a whole stock in your garage, I would suggest taking a stab at it and going here with them. Who knows? You might end up with lots of cash.
This piece almost 20 years ago.
That was never true, and that's an 18-year-old review.
Yeah.
So the rest of these, I wouldn't have been I would have just taken over the store when this one was from. Love going here after eating at one of the many nearby restaurants. I guess that's kind of true because there are some relatively major ones across the street from where we were. One strange thing here is they're always hounding you to pre-order video games. I don't like this. I don't like doing this because I can never remember my pre-orders and forget to get them. Which does happen. But that did happen a lot because even though we take phone numbers and answer people, you'd call the phone number disconnected, the voicemail box full. Like people seem to come in and they're willing to put down money for stuff, but not make sure that their contact information is correct to pick this stuff up. The better deal is to buy used games because then you have a 7 days to try them out and see if you like them. GameStop does not take returns on new games, but they will buy them back from you for much less than they are worth if you sold yourself on eBay or something. That's very true. I mean, that's
very true.
We're not going to argue against it. I'll save the 1 stars for last.
Okay,
because those were both
good
4 stars. There's 2 1 stars, and one of them is definitely about our store.
It is.
So here's a 2-star. They do not price match. At the time this was true. They are overpriced. Their return policy is almost impossible to follow. If you don't specify, you will be automatically sold a used game that may or may not work. That's not true. They will swap that game for another that may or may not work. You have to drive back with frustrated kids. So why 2 stars? My kids like the atmosphere of the store. They buy back used games. The employees are very knowledgeable about game content, and the midnight releases. So for those reasons, it's worth going, but only for new games at the midnight release.
Fair. Yeah,
fair for the most part. Some of it's not true, but it is what it is. I will save the worst one for last because it's the best.
Okay.
One. Here's another 1 star. These are definitely when Kyle and I were both there.
Yeah, they are.
I went into this GameStop recently to do some trade-ins and purchase a few games for my children. They had 1 representative on the floor and 1 behind the register. You could tell it's a long time ago because we had 2 people working.
Yeah,
I first went to the gentleman behind the register to do my trade-ins, asked a couple of questions about what I planned on purchasing, and he gave me 1-word answers as if he could care less of my business. I assumed maybe he was having a bad day and went to talk to the guy on the floor. His attitude was the same. 1-word answers, no emotion, no eye contact whatsoever. I made a comment around the lines of, is there another GameStop in the area who wouldn't mind helping us out? His response was, you can go to the one up the street across from the Walmart. Terrible customer service at this location.
I feel like I know who that was.
I can tell who one of them was for sure.
Okay.
This was also in... Oh, no, he would have been gone by that point, so it wouldn't have been him. It was definitely one person I'm thinking of. I couldn't tell you the other person is. Again,
okay.
You take these with a grain of salt because
I
find it hard to believe that both people working would have given 1-word answers and pretended like they didn't. Like, no, that's not. Last one, 1 star. This is right before we closed. This is a month before we closed, so you weren't there.
No.
Did I know at this point? I think I knew. No, I hadn't. I know I didn't know because he told me.
Did you know before or after Black Friday?
Shit. Did he tell me on Black Friday? He might have told me on Black Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think I knew yet, but this was 2 months before we closed.
Okay.
I saw by far some of the most rude customer service. The 2 employees also gypped us on a trade-in deal. I don't know how that's possible because the computer gives me a number and I tell it to you. No people skills and no manners. Never have I felt unmotivated to play video games in my entire life. If you're going to be customer service, be nice to your customers. Never going here again. Would rather go to the other store near us. Yeah, that's funny because that's right before we closed. We didn't know yet, but gypped on a trade-in. I'm guessing that was just we scanned it, told them the price, and they were like, oh, because around that time is when prices started to get bad for the current stuff because a lot of stuff fell to only a couple dollars. I'd imagine kind of what it is like now, unless it's like something. Because remember, the key is unless it's something that's like within a month, the value just plummets because stuff goes on sale constantly and just ruins the trade price. But yeah, so those are.
You always get people that are like, I got Madden 2007, should be $30.
Yeah, no. People, you sell it for 10. I should get at least 8. No, like what? No. Not how this works.
Why?
So those are the reviews I could find for our store.
Store to kick it off.
I'll keep digging for the Google ones because they've got to still exist.
They have to,
because Google never deletes anything. But we have been removed from the map. And I actually told Kyle earlier that one of the biggest things about our shopping center was it was always like, are they going to tear it down to build something else? And I happened to drive past it today, and there is a giant like construction fence blocking off the driveway path. You cannot physically drive in front of our store anymore. So
that tells me that it might be that time finally.
I think it's time that they're finally going to do it. What do
you think they do? You think they actually use it to build something new retail, or do you think they expand the beach area?
From what I've heard, the plan was to make it either like townhomes or to make it like an outdoor galleria type thing, because the space where it is huge.
It's huge.
We used to have we had 2 anchor stores, an entire like strip mall thing that curved around at the end. And at the end of that, it was 2 larger stores, which at one point were like a Walmart and something else. So like that area is massive and the parking lot is unbelievable. So could it be like a Galleria thing? I guess so. And they're really working hard to develop this street. It's possible, but
it's possible.
My guess is that they rip it down and don't touch it for 8 years.
For a while. Yeah, there you go. Kind of like they did with the old Walmart.
Yes. So yeah, if you think your store has funny reviews or whatever, give us the store number or
maybe
location.
You never even thought to look.
Or maybe you've never thought to look. I encourage you to do so. But email in and say you want us to read your store's reviews. Like again, we won't dox you, we won't say where it is, but we'll do our best. And if not, I'll just pick a random store around here.
Yeah.
There's some good ones I know of.
Well, we can kick off into emails. We got a variety of emails this week. First emails, we'll kick it off hot here. First email comes from Gil from Redacted.
Oh, boy.
Says, hey, guys, current GameStop manager here. I'm not sure if you've seen, but at the end of July, they are eliminating the GA position from GameStop entirely. Well, it does suck. There's no longer an entry-level position for someone to get started at this company. That's also me being way too optimistic about the future GameStop doesn't have.
That's good.
Certainly, this is one of the final nails in the coffin. At least at my store, I haven't had a GA for over a year, just myself, my ASL, and a part-time SGA. And even then, it is a struggle for hours. Thanks for reading this if you do. So, yeah, I mean, obviously... the news is that they are eliminating the GA position company wide. I mean, considering how it's been the last couple of years, where like you're lucky to have that one employee work pretty much open to close. They've shortened the hours,
right?
So like I've said before, like the store by me, they're open noon to 8,
right, or 11 or something at the best. Yeah. Do you remember there was that short period of time where they made us start?
Oh, you talk about 9? The magic. Oh, I was gonna say, do you remember the magic period where we closed at 8?
Yeah, because we like convinced
6
them
months.
Like, this is stupid,
and then they made us go back.
Yeah, and they made us go back.
And I was sad.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, there was a period too where we had to open at like 9, and it was stupid.
We proved pretty quick that there was no point for that either.
That did not last 6 months.
No, that was like the other month or two.
So, which is
but the GA thing being eliminated, it's for a couple reasons. I mean, stores aren't getting hours. You don't have time for double coverage as it is. And the real reason is they want everyone to be able to open and close and work an entire shift. Period. Yeah. That's what they want. But it is strange because they're not going to have. There is no like, I work at high school kind of. No, that's not going to work anymore. Like,
so what do they do when it comes to holiday? What are they going to do around Black Friday? And stuff?
I would assume that the seasonal position remains.
You think they
are hired for 2 months? You will work 4 hours, and I will say goodbye to you.
You're gonna have to have some sort of double coverage at that point. Right? You have to.
But yeah, it is weird because there's no more entry level thing. It's not going to just be like casual people who want a part time job. That does not exist here anymore. Sorry. You're a high school kid that works? No, does not work anymore. Sorry. Nope. I do think it's funny where it's either we'll promote you to SGA if we can, if you want, or you're gone. Goodbye, kind of a thing. It's just another step towards look at how much money we're saving. We fired a ton of people.
Yeah. Because that's the other part of it is like anybody that's a GA right now that you're either in a situation where you have to promote them if you can, or you have to tell them the end of the month it's over.
Go time.
So
yep.
So
Crazy.
yeah, it's a shitty.
That's
kind of surprised it took this long. After COVID happened and they changed the hours and all this other kind of stuff, it's weird that it took this long. But I'm sure they crunched the numbers and decided we can eliminate that.
Yeah. This next email made me happy because Bloomington, Illinois. I used to live there. So this comes from Zach from Bloomington, Illinois. Hey guys, was curious now that Dan has finished Final Fantasy 16 with last week's episode. Would you say 16 is a good entry point for those that haven't played a Final Fantasy? I never have, and all of the trailers look excellent. Thanks.
If you've never played one, it's an absolutely perfect place to start because it is entirely self-contained. It does not play like any other Final Fantasy game has ever played.
No, it doesn't at all.
It has shades of 15, but even then it's not like that. It is a perfect entry point. The only thing you need to be prepared for is like if this gets you into Final Fantasy, you're gonna go backwards. You know,
for sure.
Your next step from here, if you get into 16, you like 16 because again, I really like 16. Now that I finished it, reflected on it, like I think that game is great. It is very good. Does it make like even the top 5 for me? That's tough, and I'd have to like sit and think about it. But it's knocking on the door at the very least. This is a perfect one to start with, and then if you like this one, my suggestion would be to go back to 15. Because that's going to be like
idea.
You're like it's actiony and a little bit more RPG stuff.
Kind of a hybrid of both.
Party system kind of a thing going on. Or you could go the other route and go to 7 Remake, which is a very good mix of like you're actually doing the commands plus RPG party mechanics.
Just know if you do that, you're only getting part 1 of it.
Well, but that's okay. That's okay though because that game is huge.
It is huge.
And you know part 2 is coming soon, so that's okay. You're going to find difficulties as you go farther back, though, because, you know, none of them, aside from 15, are really action-based. Even 13, which looks like it is picking commands and they do it for you. 12 is an offline MMO. 10 is strictly turn-based. And then 9 backwards are turn-based games. But if you've never played one before and you like action games like Devil May Cry or what's another good example?
Action games,
Devil May Cry,
Ys. If you want an RPG,
kind of
Ys 8, like that's
I'm thinking more like you're actually like pushing commands to swing a sword and stuff like that. I mean, Ys probably, but if you like action style games like Bayonetta, even has touches of it.
Bayonetta is really good.
Yeah, it's I highly recommend it. It's just don't necessarily be prepared to be able to just go from 16 to
any other one
10,
without there being a
10 without
a big learning curve.
Shift. Yeah.
Exactly.
It worked well the other way where you went from hardcore turn-based to gradually building to action. I'm not sure if it works.
Especially if you finish 16, you're like, wow, this is really good. There's 15 other ones I can play. Ooh. It's going to be a hard
if you really want to go the weird one, just do Strangers of Paradise. That's action-based.
There you go. Next email comes to us from Ryan from Westland, Michigan. Hey guys, any chance any of you saw Oppenheimer or even Barbie? Been loving the movie reviews. Thanks. No,
none
of us. I have not seen Barbie. I have no interest in Barbie. I've seen the Oppenheimer trailer so many times. I feel like we've lived Oppenheimer at this point.
Like some would say we have.
Some would say
I saw Barbie.
Did you see Barbie?
I forgot about it. You saw Barbie. That's right. So
I did. So I will say it's definitely not what I expected. I went in kind of thinking it was going to be kind of goofy, kind of comical. And while it does have its comedy, it actually has like a really strong message centered around like female, like the struggles of what females go through, like day to day. And like, while like you hear about it all the time, like it's it's interesting to see how they were able to fit that idea into this movie particularly.
Yeah.
I think Margot Robbie does a fantastic job of playing the what's the word I'm thinking of? Like when she's actually like Barbie herself. Like there's a scene in the movie where she like sits down and her legs are like flat.
Okay. Oh, I see. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like,
yeah,
exactly. And so it's really cool because they do small things like that.
Yeah.
That make you, okay, wait, that is Barbie. Or like, you know,
that's she's
cool. Supposed to be the envision of Barbie.
Okay.
I think Ryan Gosling did a great job. I read a couple of reviews where people said they didn't like his character, but if you really pay attention to it, he does a very good job at like kind of like establishing the Ken character itself.
Yeah. Okay.
America Ferrera is in it. I don't know if you guys watch Superstore.
Yep.
Yeah.
She does a really good job too.
Okay.
All in all, I say if you are on the fence about going to see it, I would encourage you to go see it because I went in thinking it was going to be kind of like, I didn't go in with the highest expectations that it was actually going to be a movie I'd enjoy. And I actually came out going, damn, that was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. What's funny is I don't think I cared about it when I thought it was going to be like a silly, goofy, like Barbie movie. I was like, I don't necessarily need to see like a movie about a doll. But then when I started to read more about what it was, I was like, that actually seems like it's more interesting than what it should have been. Yeah. You know, like they could have just made a doll movie and said, this is the Barbie movie and been done with it.
Yeah,
for sure.
And that's how I felt too. Like I really thought it was going to be and I didn't read any reviews going into the movie. My wife and my sister-in-law were like, we want to go see the Barbie movie. And I was like, I really like popcorn at the movie theater. I definitely will go with you. So that's what I did. I went in thinking popcorn, get my drink, I'll watch a movie. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I left going, damn, that was like a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Fair enough.
So, and it was really cool to see like, not only the amount of kids who were dressed, like the amount of girls who were dressed in pink, but the amount of like women who were like decked out looking like Barbie gear. Like it was really cool to see like the fact that so many women were like excited to see this movie. And like I said, it really does do well and like kind of like bringing some of the things that they feel to life.
Yeah.
So I will say, like I said, if you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. I think it was a definitely good watch.
That's one I'm going to wait for streaming, and I'll watch it for sure.
Yeah.
I will say, I think we are in a unique position that the next time we record, I think we will all have seen this new Turtles movie. Because my girlfriend and I are going to go see it. You're taking your kids, Dan, and you're seeing it too, Matt. So
I am pushing to see it, I think, next Sunday.
Okay.
I think I'm going to push to go see it next Sunday.
That'll be before we record. So
I think that's what
we will be able to talk about the Turtles movie.
But both my kids keep talking about it constantly. Like they're both excited for it. It's getting good reviews.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited to go.
I'm excited.
Oppenheimer, I'll wait for streaming too because
that's
I'll
Ryan
watch
with that.
it. Like I watch all of his stuff. It's just that's not necessarily something I don't want to sit through
3 hours.
Like a period piece. Like action movies and stuff are different to me. Like Mission Impossible, sure, just because like something's always happening and like the tension's always happening and I don't know what's going to happen.
For me, also, like it depends on what it is. Like when we went and saw Mission Impossible and they showed that trailer for that Scorsese Killers of the Flower Moon, like that is something I would be more than happy to sit and watch in a movie theater. But Oppenheimer, for whatever reason, like I will sit and watch it when it's available on demand whenever that is. It's a Nolan movie, so it's probably going to take longer because he'll want it to be in theater forever. But it is something I will watch. I'm interested. It's just like, my God, how many times have we seen that fucking trailer? Every movie we go to see.
I think that was the other part. And maybe I just got hammered into my head too much where I was just like,
it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's coming out. Like now, finally, when I go see the Turtles movie, I won't see an Oppenheimer trailer, hopefully. So,
what if there is one? Ooh.
Or they advertise that one for the kids. Oh man, but yeah, that's what I would say is we'll definitely next time we record we'll talk about Turtles because we'll have all seen it. So and I'm looking forward to Turtles. So. And also, the one other thing I'll say is I will at that point I will be able to finish and tell you my experiment if the theater over by me is sold out for Turtles.
Right, because you're going to go over there, and
I'm going to go over there and I'm going to let you know. Yeah, I'm very curious. So
cool.
Next email we have another redacted. This comes from Anthony. Hi guys, longtime listener here. Love the show. Just wanted to say, after hearing you guys say over and over again for months to get out of GameStop as soon as possible, I finally motivated myself and promoted myself to customer. My final straw was the absurd goals for GameStop Pro and learning that I would have to fire 2 of my GAs because GameStop is eliminating the position and I have no place to put them or promote them either at my store or in my district. Thanks for what you all do.
We're very proud of Anthony.
So,
great job, Anthony.
Saved another.
You did it.
Yeah.
Another redacted. George from Redacted. This is a good one, actually.
This is a great one.
Hey guys, GameStop manager here. I wanted to write in with my best score, a complete copy of Rule of Rose.
Incredible.
It came in during a brief time where we were not taking in PS2 games. It was in a lot with a ton of games that are worth nothing.
God, those are always the weirdest slots too.
Yeah, where it's like, and I could just imagine it's probably like a bunch of sports games, odds and ends, and like Rule of Rose. Like, in the end, I paid a total of $65 for this person's PS2 and the lot of games.
My God.
And while the only 2 things worth anything were the game and the system, I paid $65 for a copy of Rule of Rose.
Man,
not many can say
that. And that's the kind of awesome situation too, where like they come in with that stack and you see the one thing in there, and you don't say, "I just want the one," because then they know something is up.
Yeah,
you say, "I'll take the whole thing." That was like when I bought a lot of 64 off of this kid in the parking lot of like the first GameStop I ever worked at. Well, he had a couple 64 games I didn't have, but it was like, well, what do you want for the whole thing? I'm not going to just try to pick out a couple. Makes more sense, but like I can picture that stack in my head of like Jack 2 and like ATV quad. You remember the ATV Off-Road 2 or whatever, and then like it's like stacked 10 high, and like in the middle is just Rose, and then like Madden, whatever, and you're just like, and just looking at me like, oh my God. And they can do the thing where you you look in all of them when you're not really looking at the other ones. You're just looking to make sure that Rule of Rose is in there, and then you close it. And who cares if the system works? You paid $65.
Yeah, even then, like that's the thing I would say is like he said, even though I paid $65 for a copy of Rule of Rose, like
system works is a motive, but if it doesn't, it does not matter.
Whatever.
I love it.
For sure.
Next email we have comes from Kara from Boise, Idaho. Hey guys, I was curious, very dumb question, but what do you all drink? Like, what's your drink of choice? It doesn't have to be alcohol. It could be pop, or heck, maybe you just drink water, even though we all know that's boring. Thanks. So I know what Dan's going to say, and I'm going to give the same answer. Like you and I have been hitting those adult Mountain Dews.
I do not drink them anywhere near as frequently as you do.
Okay, fair enough.
I've tried each one. I bought like the 12 pack and I finished.
Well, the thing for me is like, and I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but in the last year, like I am diabetic, so I can't, it's very hard for me to find something that is zero sugar and also alcoholic, even though like there's barely any alcohol in those Mountain Dews.
I don't know. Some of the flavors you can taste it.
You can taste it a little bit better than others, but for alcohol, and I don't drink a lot of alcohol to begin with anyways, but those Mountain Dews are pretty good. The best one for me is the Live Wire because I just like orange, but they put out that tropical thing. I've sent you pictures of it too because I found it a couple times, but it was limited where they had like a mango one, a pineapple one. That is fantastic. I wish it wasn't limited. So anytime I ever see that, I buy it because it's incredible.
I still need you to send me some.
I need to.
That's weird. Do
you not have them down by you?
No, they're not everywhere.
Still.
It even took us to get them for a long time. We didn't have them around here.
Well, and this thing too, like my girlfriend is not diabetic, and like she tried one of them, was like, I don't like this because there's no sugar. So,
of course.
But putting aside that, because I really don't drink alcohol otherwise. I drink a lot of Coke Zero. That's my thing. So any of the zero. Or ever since actually becoming diabetic, for whatever reason, like I went down this long path of the zero, and I'm still on this path, the zero sugar energy drinks, because for whatever reason, like that market has exploded.
Well, there's
like a weird way.
There's a huge market for zero anything.
Yeah. And there's some good, there's some bad.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to that, the one that I'm high on right now is called Prime. I like the mango one of that. But
are you talking about the Logan Paul stuff?
Yeah.
Is that Logan Paul?
I hate that. It tastes gross.
Prime Energy, really?
No, I think it tastes
Logan Paul's. I had no idea.
It has.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I tried one just because like I gotta try it again. It has this weird. It has a weird like thick texture to me that I cannot stand.
Okay. So I'll tell you the one that I tried because I never had one, and I threw it out. I could not do it. Rockstar.
Oh, God,
it's just so. It reminded me like years and years ago when Red Bull first came out. And I was like, I'll fucking try this Red Bull, see what it was like. I spit it out, threw it out. It's like one of the worst things I've ever had in my life. It was like that level.
Zero stuff is funny because depending on like who makes it or how it's made, it can have a funny taste to it, or they can have a weird aftertaste. Like
or it's like too much of a chemical.
I remember
flavor.
when Coke Zero came out. When I first tried it, it had a weird aftertaste. Like it always had this like weird like tang thing at the end. I could not stand it, and they've changed it since. Yeah, it's gone now. So I don't really drink either. I'll have like stuff like hard dews, or actually my favorite of like a hard thing is Simply Lemonade makes a hard thing, which is pretty good.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Those are very good. I like Simply Lemonade a lot. Like I saw that and I was like, I have to try it. Every flavor of that was good. But I don't drink a lot of alcohol, which is actually kind of a bummer because as Cal knows, like my in-laws own a brewery, so I kind of have access to this stuff. It means nothing to me. So like, it's a bummer because I could drink in theory, very cheap, but it does not benefit me. I switched over to zero stuff a long time ago just because
I did too. Like even before I was
drink this shit, I might as well try to not have the worst version of it.
Exactly.
My favorite things would be I like Cherry Coke Zero a lot.
That was really good too.
I like Cherry Dr. Pepper Zero.
I was going to say the Dr. Pepper Zero also.
That one you could give it to someone and I don't think they could tell you it's zero. Like those.
No.
That tastes almost like that.
That's another example. I'll say like I have the cream soda zero Dr. Pepper right now.
The strawberries and cream one?
My girlfriend the other day was like, I want, a pop, but everything you have is zero sugar, and I told her, I'm like, why don't you try this cream soda? And then she questioned it. She's like, this is zero sugar? I'm like, look at the can.
Yeah. The other thing like, Kyle knows this about me, like I have kind of like, I wouldn't say I'm like a mega fan of Mountain Dew, but I try every flavor and I try to get my hands on every flavor.
Yeah.
Just to see. Again, I stick to zeros when possible, like Spark Zero. The only thing is what sucks is sometimes when they do like the limited stuff, like they're doing like the limited, like, summer ones right now, there's no zero.
They might not do a zero.
Two of them. So I drink those very sparingly.
Okay.
But the purple one right now, which is like a passion fruit one, is pretty good.
Okay.
They just did the Bomb Pop flavored one, Summer Freeze.
I saw that.
They made a zero of that, which was good.
Okay.
But I've even gotten my hands on ones that like don't come out around here. Like there's one called Uproar, which is only like in the Southeast, and I managed to get some of that. Cool. A friend of mine won a contest, which he got a special flavor from, and he got 6 cans of it, so he gave me a can of that, which is pretty good. I like to try them all, but lately, and I know this is boring, but lately I just drink a lot of water just because.
Yeah, fair.
That's fine. I'm older now, but when I was younger, I definitely drank way too much soda. And at a certain point, it just got to a point where it's like, I cannot keep drinking this. Like, I'm at a point now where, like, I haven't had any in my house in probably, like, 2 weeks. Just because I have to make an effort to buy it. And, like, it's just drink water.
Yeah, and, like, and that's the thing I'll say, too. It's like, I'm not pounding, like, 20 cans of Coke Zero a day either. Like, I used to, and I realized, it wouldn't have been zero. It would have been regular.
It would kill me now if I did it, so...
No, and then the only other thing I would put on there is I drink a shit ton of coffee, but that's me.
I like zero Gatorades too.
Yeah,
Gatorade Zero is good.
What about you, man?
So I got into this habit back when I was in high school that I start drinking at least like I got it into my head that a gallon of water a day was good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I as a kid, I used to drink anything but water, like religiously. Like, don't try to. I mean, I would drink water out the hose, and that was only because my parents wouldn't let me come inside the house. That's really it. So, like, when I hit my senior year, I just started like getting really devoted into drinking water and pushing myself. So, like to this day, I drink probably a gallon and a half to 2 gallons of water a day.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
And like, yeah. And that's kind of what I do. If I don't, I get really cotton mouth. Like I get really dry mouth and, I feel a little groggy throughout the day. Aside from that, I typically will drink like one energy based drink a day. And it's not because it gives me the energy. It's more because I just need to break up the water that I drink in my intake to make sure I can still push to do it. So I actually I'm really high on this company called Rise. They make a really good zero drink. And it's not really like zero. It's got like 3 or 4 carbs in it, but it's not bad.
Yeah.
Compared to most of the other ones. And I mean, as Kyle is, I'm diabetic too. And I've been diabetic for probably like, I think it's been like 8 or 9 years. And so like I jumped on the zero train a long time ago and anything I drink is zero based. I really like Pepsi Zero more than I like Coke Zero. Okay. Because I feel like Pepsi Zero has a smoother taste while Coke feels a little more harsh to me. I still will drink.
Coke definitely has like a bite or like an acid taste to it.
And I sometimes that's good and sometimes I'm just not really feeling it. I will tell you the one drink I get super excited about is Sam's Club. Has Berry Monsoon Mountain Dew Zero.
Yep.
Yeah, I can try that.
I have gone to Sam's Club just to get that before.
I have to go there this weekend, so
I absolutely love it. Like I will buy a cup, walk over there, fill it halfway up, down that bad boy, and just wait on my snack. Then fill my cup back up as I walk back out.
That is
like that is the for me. I feel like that's one of the best Mountain Dew variants that they've had. And I'm super shocked.
That is like top tier of like.
And I'm shocked that Sam's hasn't like jumped on that bandwagon.
What a weird
and then,
thing.
Like, opened cases. Like, let's bottle this bitch.
Yeah, it's weird because like Mountain Dew is one of the weirdest companies when it comes to like exclusive flavors because like Circle K has one.
Purple Thunder.
Purple Thunder is really good. No zeros, which is
tough. Sad.
Casey's has Overdrive. Kyle, you would love it because it's orange. No zeros.
Okay. Yeah.
No zeros. So like whenever it's not a non-zero, I'll get like one and then drink it and go, yeah, that was pretty good. And then maybe a month later, I'll get another one.
Well, and I think that's the other reason why I really like that Adelt Live Wire is because that is zero. And I don't think they make a regular Live Wire.
There's no Live Wire zero. There's no Overdrive zero.
So
there's also still technically, I don't think there's even a Code Red Zero, even though they've talked about it for a long time.
It's weird.
It's in Ohio.
Yeah, like it's a weird one where like it only exists in a couple places.
I was gonna say because I feel like I've seen it before, but it's never been around.
There used to be Diet Code Red for a while, and then that disappeared. And then the zero for Code Red is in like 3 locations.
Yeah, I bought Code Red Zero down south one time. I was I happened to walk past the Walmart, like I was in the drink section of Walmart. The shit was in a 2-liter bottle.
Yeah, there you go.
And I grabbed one because I was like, I wonder how this will taste. Like Zero can kind of have a weird taste, and I didn't want to buy a lot of it because I was like, I'll try it and I'll come back. Went home, drank some, tried to go back the next day. They were all gone. Yeah. Haven't seen it
Mountain
again
Dew
since.
is one of the few companies that actually gets zero correct. Like it actually tastes good. I will also say, just in case, I did drink the Flamin' Hot Dew. Like that when they did that.
I actually did try a sip of that because my girlfriend got
fucked
that.
Up. Like it's not.
Yeah, no,
it's
that
a
was
marketing
not.
stunt. It's not good.
She had also gotten, and I tried a sip of it too, the fruitcake one.
Fruitcake.
When they did that one.
I actually did like that one because I like fruitcake, but like I admit that is a weird flavor. And the only reason it was any good, the year before they did like a gingerbread one. That was so completely disgusting. It is probably the one time I've never finished one.
Okay.
I got like half through and just went, I cannot. But yeah, I wish some of the like the special ones would get zeros. Like Kroger has like the apple one. There's no zero. Walmart actually has a zero of Frostbite, which is like which is a good one, but like it's almost never in stock. The zero. Yeah. The only time I ever really find it is, you know how they do that like 6-pack of bottles where they're like not 20 ounces, they're like 16.9. A lot of times they'll have that in zero, but not like a 12-pack. So if I see that and I'm at Walmart, I'll tend to grab it just because I can space it out. But
I will say, as a kid, when I lived in the southern part of the state, there was a local pizza place we used to go to, and specifically in the in the fountain, cherry RC Cola.
Oh shit! RC used to be the jam when we were kids.
Yeah, for
insanely good.
Yeah.
I never, like, even today, like, I look like they still make RC Cola. Obviously, Diet Right's still a huge thing, but
I don't think I've ever drank it again.
Never see cans of cherry RC Cola ever. I have seen it before, but it's been years since I've seen it. But man, as a kid, like that was the highlight of going to that.
Why don't you tell everybody about your Game Fuel problem?
Oh, the Game Fuel story? I can share that. I had to quit. We might as well. This is one of the reasons why I kicked over to zero sugar pop too. But in 2011, when Batman Arkham City came out, and I don't know if I've even told this story on my YouTube channel, but I was obviously very excited about, I'm a huge Batman fan, very excited about the game. I decided, for whatever fucked up reason, I'm going to go out and buy this 24-pack case of Game Fuel Mountain Dew, and I'm just going to slam this entire fucking thing all night and beat Arkham City, which I did by 5 o'clock the next day because I stayed up all night. But then I also felt like I was going to have a heart attack and die after that.
Wow.
So that resulted in me cutting off drinking caffeine for 7 years. Until it got, and I like this whole time. I'm not kidding. Like I did drink.
When I met you, you were like, I can't drink it anymore because of this.
Yeah. And like for a long time, like I was like, I can't drink anything with caffeine. And I still drank coffee. I was drinking decaf coffee, whatever, because I just like coffee. Nothing caffeinated. And then I finally just got to this point one day where I'm like, I think I'm going to try again, and just in moderation. And now it's like caffeine just doesn't, maybe that's my superpower now. Like caffeine doesn't affect me except in one case. I've told this to Matt recently. I drank a yerba mate tea, and that fucked my shit up for a day and never again. And I laugh because Eric used to be on this podcast. I remember telling him and his wife at the time when I drank that, and his wife thought it was the greatest thing. Like, you got fucked up on an yerba mate. Yep. Like it was nuts.
I will say, like, so I would really like to give up pop in soda in general. Like, and I like compared to where I used to be, where I am now, it is a significant improvement. Problem is like you just said, like caffeine does not affect me unless I don't have it. If I don't have it, I suffer from migraines in general. But if I go too long without something, it becomes a problem pretty quick.
Yeah, like when I had COVID, I didn't have coffee for a couple days, so not having that caffeine just added to the headache.
Yeah, so
I know.
I know I have like my body technically has like an addiction to it, so weaning myself off of it is difficult. But, It's something I would like to get to at some point, but for now, it's if I don't have it and I have to go to work and stare at a computer screen for 8 hours, it's a problem.
For sure.
Oh, for sure.
But good question.
Good random question. I like random questions too.
For sure.
Yeah, not dumb at all.
Next email we have comes from Fred from Redacted. Hey all, GameStop ASL. I'm curious, during your tenure, did you ever have a problem with customers vaping in store? In the last year, I've gotten to the point of kicking people out because they won't stop vaping while inside the store. It's not acceptable, and it's just the same as if you were to light up a cigarette in a retail store. I just can't understand why people think it's acceptable. Thanks.
It happened.
It definitely happened, but like I don't think it happened as much simply because like that's a lot more popular now and it was kind of becoming a thing.
Yeah, but it would definitely happen. And I'd have to like look at people and I would just stare and be like, you cannot vape in here. Well, it's not you cannot vape in here.
I had a guy walk in the store with a lit joint once.
Yes, well, yeah, you have. We've had.
Were you there? Were you there? That happened?
No, I was not.
Okay, that was somebody else that was with me. But yeah, that was the thing that happened where like these two. I mean, they clearly were trying to trade in stolen goods.
Yeah,
but that dude literally, I watched him puffing it as he was walking in, and then try to kind of put it in his pocket.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, no, man. Like
that smell, and like especially like
you can't hide
smell,
that.
But like vape smell, it makes me nauseous. Like
it does too.
My body actually has like a reaction to it in terms of like it will make
like
me
even
feel
like
sick.
like even like if I'm out driving somewhere and I pull up to a stopping point, and the car next to me somebody takes a puff on a vape and it's like some weird fucking like
Fruity Tooty or whatever,
Fruity Tooty or whatever, like that shit is like it'll give me a headache.
It smells like it's sickeningly sweet and just like floral, and to the point where I can't handle it. But yeah, there would definitely be people that would come in and be like, my favorite are always ones that like try to hide it, and they'd like go like this. They like lean down.
A quick little. It's like I can see this.
Like I can smell it.
Like I can see it coming out.
Well, it's not the same as smoking. I don't care. Like get out.
I still have to smell it.
If you're at a point in your life where you can't go 5 minutes in a public place without doing it,
exactly.
Maybe you shouldn't be at GameStop spending $10 on a used copy of something you don't need.
For sure.
There you go.
Like, come on, man. You're in a public place. Sure. Why do you think you can't smoke literally anywhere anymore inside?
No, and I agree. I would treat it the same as smoking.
It is the same.
It should be. It's the same thing. So, next email we have, this one's mostly directed at me, but Chris from Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Hey guys, was curious, especially from Kyle, if he saw the Castlevania Nocturne trailer and what his thoughts are on it. So Netflix dropped the trailer which I'm gonna have to re-up Netflix to watch this fucking show. That's the bummer.
Just say you can borrow mine, but maybe you can't.
No, you can't. No, I was already doing that with my parents because I pay for Hulu, they were paying for Netflix, and that's how we had this switched. And then when they finally did that, because they're the primary account holder, I'm the one that got that message that fateful day. Or like, you're not the primary account holder. So, anyway, and I'm done with Netflix at that point. But I will have to re-up for this. I thought the trailer's fantastic. I've said before, like that Castlevania, there were 4 parts to it. As some of one of the best video game adaptations. Like I would put it up there with any of these like recent movies like Mario Brothers and something like that. What I like about it is it's taken it and it's a very complex and adult story. Like it is not made for children. So like if you want to go into it thinking like, oh, as a kid I played Castlevania, so I can watch with my kids. Super do not do that. It's not for kids at all. There's some pretty fucked up things in it, but I loved everything about this. You're going to do the story of Richter, but from what I read and from what I saw, what they showed, they're starting from Rondo. So they're pretty much kind of adapting like the beginnings of Rondo, and they're going to lead into Symphony of the Night, which means they can bring Alucard back. Obviously, Alucard was very heavily a part of those other seasons. So, and I think I remember reading when they said they were going to end that series and start a new one, that they were going to bring that actor back to play Alucard. Will he show up in this in these 8 episodes? I don't know. It's probably a little too early. But this looks fantastic. Everything they showed, like sold me immediately. They play, the only thing I'll say, and like they kind of did this in the original one too, like until you get to about the 3rd season, they kind of like put very subtle hints of classic Castlevania music.
Okay.
And then by the 3rd season, they're kind of just like, fuck it. You people know it's Castlevania. Yeah. So, but the other thing I'll say about that original show, and I'm sure they will continue that here, is like, they also have like added their own like original storylines to it to kind of flesh it out. All of that, like normally I'd be like, I don't know if I really care for that. All of that worked with that previous series. So I would assume whatever they do here will probably work as well. So I know you haven't I'm not an anime person really, but I really enjoyed it because I love Castlevania. I know I've told you, Dan, like at some point you should watch it.
I'm a casual like Castlevania person. Like my favorite Castlevania game is Bloodstained, but But yeah, it's something I probably will get to at some point. Like
it's very well done.
I'll want to watch it someday when I'm not watching.
So, I'm excited for it. It's out end of September. 8 episodes. They're not going to do the bullshit, split season. We got you for 2 months, sucker.
Yeah, I was happy Netflix has been doing something recently. Like Peacock with the Twisted Metal. That's all available day one. Like
that was the thing. Like with The Bear as well. Like on Hulu, where they're like here. I could not comprehend watching that show weekly.
People want binge content. They don't want to wait. Like
they don't want to wait, or especially like illogical splits of seasons, like Stranger Things. It made no sense.
Well, like the thing that just happened with Secret Invasion. Like not even it's not good. It's not bad. It is what it is. But I can't imagine having to sit there and wait a week between like the other shows that I cared about. Fine. But like this one where it was like, I don't know if this is going to be good. I had to wait 6 weeks to watch it all in one day. Because again, these are 34-minute episodes. It's like, this isn't even like this isn't long enough to make it like a weekly event kind of a thing.
For sure. So, but I look forward to it, so I will talk more about it at length when it comes. My girlfriend looks forward to it as well. She really enjoyed that Castlevania anime. I mean, obviously, I have multiple cats named after Castlevania characters, so big fan.
Some would say too many.
Too many. Next email we have comes from Lauren from Corona Del Mar, California. I had to look that up, too, because I was like, I've never heard of this town. Hi guys, I was curious in the past, you've discussed if it would be possible for video rental stores to make a comeback. Do you think it's possible to see a higher rise in video game retail stores as in retro games specifically, or do you think when GameStop finally has its last gasp that it will have that big of an effect on the market as a whole? Thanks.
It's tough. Like I think rental stores is something we'd all like to see come back, and we talked about it before where I think that people of our age group would be into them existing again.
Yeah.
But in terms of like video game stores, my thought is when GameStop finally goes away, we're just going to be at the digital era. Right?
I think so too.
We're almost there as is. Like we're getting very close, and GameStop will hang on for as long as possible.
I think there will still be like across the country, there will be your mom and pop stores that still sell retro games. But I don't think I don't think you're going to see the rise all of a sudden of some other like chain entity like GameStop.
I don't think a chain.
I think when it won't make sense at that point because like digital is what's going to inevitably kill GameStop. And I would say too, like if you look at this specific generation between, if you were to break down, and they'll never break down and show you these numbers because why would they? But if they were to break down and show you the numbers on the Xbox side, how many of those Series S consoles were sold? On PlayStation side, how many of those digital only consoles are sold? That's the test, because they're testing to see, hey, next time around, can we do this without having a disk drive?
Yeah.
And the answer, sadly, is probably because
the answer would be I don't like it, but please, God, put a big hard drive in the system.
That's the thing holding it back.
Yeah,
but you see like games like Final Fantasy 16 where like their sales numbers, a lot of it is digital now, and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. Like digital pre-orders are huge now, which is something that you could have said 10 years ago. People would have thought you were crazy. Pre-ordering a game digitally, it sounds stupid as hell, but it makes sense now where things are released by time zone automatically on your system. It didn't used to be like that. But I don't think you'd ever see like another retail chain of video game stores anymore. I think at that point it's dead. But I think what is going to happen, you'll see mom and pop stuff, and maybe you'll see a couple more than normal. But I think the other part is what's going to happen is when GameStop goes away, and I've said this before, when GameStop goes away and the only thing left are these mom and pop shops and retro stuff, the prices on that stuff are going to go up. It's all of it goes up, because then it's not, not that it's easy to get now, but it becomes harder to get. It becomes more in demand because there are no more physical video games to buy. So everything's going to get worse, especially when companies like Nintendo, especially, almost hate releasing older games that existed, or they can't because of licensing rights or all this other stuff. Like, video gaming is going to get a lot weirder. Like we talked about that article where 87% of games aren't available now. That number is only going to get worse when GameStop disappears. It's gaming is going to get real weird real quick when we get to PS6 and all this other stuff and everything's digital, because it's going to make.
Do you think limited run gets maybe we'll up the shit and stop taking years to release shit?
I don't know. I don't know how much they care, because their business model works and they can release what they want, charge what they want. They bank more on releasing older stuff. I also don't think, as much as like PlayStation and Xbox will go digital, Switch will probably still, Nintendo will still ride the line of in between, I think, for a while.
For sure. They're not going to.
Yeah, of course.
I will say, like, they definitely, like, you know, they definitely were playing a lot of catch up for digital marketplaces with like the Wii and the Wii U, but like they caught up with the Switch.
They caught up pretty
like people
where it needs
like
to be.
There are
now.
people that will buy, like there are people, not many, like there are people that will buy their games digitally on the Switch, but again, most Nintendo fans and the Nintendo hardcore crowd, they want those games physical.
Yes. I think Nintendo realizes that there's a collectability to their stuff. Whereas there isn't for the other ones. But
so whatever their Switch successor is will still be physical. There's no way.
I think at least one more version for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, video game stores they're gonna go away. They've kind of already have. Like, go to a GameStop and buy video games. It's difficult. Go to a Best Buy.
Remember the other one that we had that was local to us? That's been gone since pre-pandemic.
Well, that was run by a bunch of idiots.
True.
Who the one time I told it before, where I walked into the store and it was open and no one was there for like 30 minutes.
You could have taken whatever you wanted and
thousands of dollars worth of stuff.
Yeah. Insane.
Yeah, it comes down to local video game stores that are mom and pop stuff. But again, you have to trust these people. Like, there's the one that Kyle and I talk about where you got that Castlevania, and I've been a couple times since, where the guy's pricing is insane. It's all over the place. He'll have the same game priced 3 different ways in the same category.
In the store.
So it's like, I can't even tell how this guy does his pricing. And everything is, I don't want to say too much, because like there's a difference between buying something on eBay that you can't see and buying something in person, where I will pay a little bit more because it's in person and I can touch it. But everything at his place is slightly too much. We're to the point where it's like, this is just a little bit too much more than I want to pay. And I have a feeling that his store will be one of the ones that gets worse when there are no other options around him.
Yeah.
Because when GameStop's gone, Best Buy will have given up. They will just remove that section from the store because they do not care. Go to a Target.
They want it gone now.
Target's half empty. Walmart is... There seems to be no regulation with how Walmarts are stocked. It's just
Meijer's the same way.
Oh, Meijer's terrible too.
Meijer recently, there was somebody's video I saw where like they went into a Meijer and there was this specific end cap where they had clearanced a bunch of recent games. So I was like, I'll go look, but like at this point, if somebody's posted the video, it's gone. That's how that works. Yeah. Like, so I went to my Meijer that's over here, and they, like, to be fair, I found the end cap they're talking about. It's all gone.
Yeah.
So. But they, like, just going into a Meijer today, and I don't go into Meijer very often, but they are very much like Best Buy. Like, we're kind of done.
They're not interested in media anymore when it can all be consumed digitally. They make money on other things.
Exactly.
We're getting closer, but I don't want to get there.
For sure. Final email we have this week comes from another redacted source. This comes from Larry. Hi guys, SL2 here, and I am furious. It seems GameStop is once again fucking me on pay. I used to receive compensation driving over an hour between 2 stores I run, and now that has been removed from my recent check. I reached out to my DL and was told he'll look into it. It's been 3 days and now nothing, and now he's on vacation for the next 2 weeks. I hate this company. Thanks for reading my email.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
That's ridiculous.
At this point, and we've said it before, like, if you're an SL2, like, not only get out, but like, you have an even bigger path to like beef up your resume. You're fucking running 2 stores.
Right.
So everything that you're putting on your resume, you can put a ×2 next to it.
Yeah, right.
You're doing that. You're doing the job of 2 people running 2 different stores.
I can't believe they would take away like driving stuff because that's bullshit. But GameStop's always done it in kind of a weird way where, you know, if you agree to work at a store, your distance from your house to that store is not covered. That just is what it is.
Yeah.
You signed on to do this. But anytime I ever had to work at a different store that was like, you know, X miles beyond, I could put in to get paid for those miles because it's not my store. I'm working. And you know, not a lot of people know you can do that. I did it because hell yeah, you're going to pay me for, I don't even care if it's a couple dollars. You're going to pay me for doing this.
For sure.
But for an SL2, we're like, I guess what they're trying to do is, well, these are both your stores. You shouldn't get paid either one. That's bullshit. If he's constantly having to go back and forth to manage both these places, you are paying me for this. And I love how the DL just kind of put it off for 3 days and then, they're gone. That was on purpose.
For 2-week vacation. Oh, it was.
They knew that
100%.
I'm going to be gone in 3 days. So I'll just look into it. Won't do a damn thing.
Maybe they'll call HR
and I'll be unreachable in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like that was on purpose. And that's a pro DL move.
It is. As you said, the mileage thing, you just reminded me of the one and only manager meeting I had to go to because I think you showed me after because I had to drive. It wasn't very far, obviously.
That was at the mall,
nearby
right?
mall.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, you showed me like how because you're like, hey, you should get paid for the mileage for that.
I made you and the other guy.
Just reminded me of that.
Yeah, you need to put this in.
You just reminded me of, hey, whatever, they can pay me for sitting through that clown show.
Yeah.
The video.
They're making you go to this thing. Like whenever I used to have to go to like, you know, regional meetings in a different state.
Well, you also had to go and do inventories at different stores. Did you put in for that too?
Anytime I could.
Okay.
Of course, they could deny it, but a lot of times they just paid it.
Sometimes you had to go pretty far. So like any of those stores, sometimes over an hour away.
I would have to go about an hour sometimes.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the one. Here's a quick inventory story about how my one DL was a fucking idiot. Inventories happen at night. What happens is you prepare your store during the day, you put up location tags, and then a team of managers will come to your store at close, and you get these little handheld scanners, and you break up and you go scan a location, you scan everything. I would always volunteer to do them because it counted as hours work, so I would get 4 or 5 hours out of my store to go do this, which I'll take that any day of the week.
You're not dealing with customers.
I'm not dealing with customers. I'm just beeping on stuff.
Yeah.
And I like doing inventories because, our store's inventory was always good. I was always pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I can spot fakes from a case from 10 feet away. So that was my favorite thing. I was always volunteered to do DS at every inventory because every DS I'd find at least 5 games like this is fake, this is fake, this is fake. But so we get all the way out to this one that's, 45 minutes, an hour away. A typical inventory will take 3 to 4 hours depending on the store. And a lot of times I wouldn't get home at this store. I wouldn't get home till 1:30, 2 in the morning. And I was always making, so I just didn't work the next day. And so we get all the way out there. We start setting up the inventory kit, got to plug in the computer, all this kind of shit. Does not work. It's like broken. And we're fucking around for like an hour and a half, just kind of shooting the shit. It's getting to be close to 11 o'clock and we have not started. So I was like, well, I'm going to have this other guy run out his inventory kit because DL had one. And we're like, how long is it going to take for him to get here so that we can then start? Well, he's 30 minutes away. And we had to be like, look, dude, by the time he gets here and we get set up and start scanning, it's going to be midnight. You're telling me I'm not going to get home till 4 minimum. Yeah. And we were like, this is insane. Like, we're not going to do this. He said, well, the option is we either do it this way or everybody comes back at 5 in the morning and we do it at 5 in the morning. Because these had to be done by a certain time. And I was finally like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not staying here till 4. So I'm going to go home and I'm going to go to sleep. And then I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to take the next day off. And he was like, so he kind of gave me some bargaining power. He's like, fine, whatever. So we all just bailed. I had to go back to that place at 5 o'clock in the morning to try to scan this shit before open. We got it done. But and then he's like, I'll buy you guys breakfast. Then we ate at a Denny's. Wow.
Oh, there you go.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Just say it wouldn't have been anything crazy.
I would have rather just gone through the McDonald's drive-through by myself and gone home.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah, like he was just such a fucking idiot. Like he breaks the thing. Well, oh no, I don't know what to do. What do you mean you don't know what to do? You don't have a backup plan? What? It's got to be done.
But he was the chess master.
The chess master.
Moving the pieces.
Move the pieces. But yeah, like this is a pro DL move. I'll look into it.
It is.
Doesn't care about your pay. Doesn't care about your pay you're deserved for things.
Yeah.
God, I will say I recently came into some knowledge about what an SL2 near me is making. And I will not say that number on this podcast for reasons. But I will say if you're an SL2 and you're listening to this, you're not getting paid what this guy is.
Yeah.
And he also, the kicker is, he also doesn't deserve it. So let that be your anger moment of the week, listening to that information. But
get the hell out.
Get out.
Yeah, get out. Get out. Beef up your resume.
Beef it up. Start floating them out there.
So, but that is going to wrap it up for this edition of Podcast 572. As always, send your emails, send your GameStop store reviews if you can find any on Yelp or Google. Like I said,
you can just send your store number or your store's address or something, and I'll pull them.
Fine.
But yeah.
But you can send them into podcast572@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for listening.
Thank you, everyone.
Be safe.